Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Deck to Sim live stream. Today it's the 31st of July 2022, 3 minutes past 8 in the evening. We're back in Microsoft Flight Simulator and we're in a brand new 737 for you. We are in the recently released PMDG 737-600, only released I think a couple of days ago. I've been sort of wanting to get my hands on it, something I probably wasn't going to grab until I saw PMDG offered it at a very, very reasonable $35, and I thought, well, as a standalone product, I wasn't sure if that was an add-on to the 700, but it's actually standalone. I think it's an absolute must-purchase. So I bought it. They've done some updates to LNAV and VNAV, some other bug fixes as well. And this is a sort of a first look, first impression of the aircraft. Now, I have had a little play with it this afternoon and this morning. I was in Vagar, which is where we're going to be going in the Faroe Islands, flying from Liverpool. Flight time of an hour 30 minutes. Seems to be some improvements, certainly how the magenta line is depicted on the ND. But again, this will be very much a first look. I've not completed the sector from A to B, and we'll see how everything is, comparing it to the real 737 at all times, and also like to compare to the Zebo mod as well. Controversial, I know, but it's great to see that they've been pumping in updates for this aircraft, and looking forward to when they release the 800. I think next month we'll be sure trying that. Hello 2 tons, 31 months as a member. Howdy Cap, afternoon all with the alpaca emoji. Thank you very much for your 31 months as a membership. I also saw the member ping at the start there. Alan Hughes, 39 months as a member. Early for a change. Is that with regards to my timing? On-time performance was excellent. Started at exactly 8 o'clock local time today. We are live time, live weather as well. Beautiful evening here in Liverpool. It's wind to the west, clear skies, 17 degrees. Vagar should be quite interesting. Winds from the west here, but it's a very outdated METAR. Don't think the airport will be open right now, so it's going to be a sort of dusk approach, and we'll be flying a gnarly RNAV with lots of turns to see how the aircraft behaves as well. Anyway, let's now zoom on in towards the aircraft. This is SimWorld Update 3, which provided a detailed Liverpool airport. I have flown from this airport in Microsoft Flight Simulator before in the fly-by-wire A320. I was having a look at the Flight Deck Sim route map earlier, and I can see a lot of people have joined in online. We'll see how we get on in Vagar. It's not the sort of airport that allows some multiple arrivals at once, but I can see the airport soon filled in there. And here we are in the stunning PMDG 737-600. No Alpaca Airways livery just yet, but no doubt my livery masters will make one in time. But we've just gone for the Boeing House livery, which looks really cool there. Such a short and stubby aircraft. We have in fact flown the 737-600 before. The level up was the 737-600 I flew last time, but I think that project's dead now in X-Plane 11. Yeah, great to fly the baby Boeing again. Let's see who we have in chat here as well before we jump into the aircraft. Hello Joe Trades, that tail looks huge. I think it's the same tail, same wing. The only thing is they've taken out a large segment of the fuselage. This aircraft has a huge amount of excess power. I mean, we'll have to realistically, you know, take an assumed thrust there, but if we go full thrust here, it's going to climb at 5,000-6,000 feet per minute. I'll let you judge what you want to do by the time we get to the whole point. Level up is dead. Never have ever tried it. I think it is. I have no idea how the project's going, but we'll perhaps try it if they do update it again at some point there. Conquest Media, shout out from South Africa. We need a South African domestic flight sometime soon. It's been a long time since we've done any flights in South Africa. I had a group flight in South Africa over a year ago. I can't remember where we flew, but it was Cape Town to somewhere. But yeah, we'll visit there again soon. Visiting the Scousers, absolutely. Very interested to see how it performs. There be dragons, it will be. Some people commenting about the parking brake. So yeah, they have a more realistic parking brake in the PMDG 737. Unfortunately, it's mandatory. The Zebo mod's had it for a very long time, but in a desktop simulator, you know, the use is a bit cumbersome. But we'll go through that there and how the parking brake is set in real life as well. Dan, but it's like in my Scouse accent, unbelievable. Yes, the LNAV VNAV update that made their way to the 700 are very good. I've seen it daily, it does look better. There are still a few quirks with VNAV, but I think there's a further update coming in time. Dante, 27 months as a member, thank you. Who Shrunk the 737? Thanks for the streams, Captain, and best of luck with the rest of the summer season. Thank you. Yes, I've just had a couple of days away in Norfolk, had a lovely time. Just to reset, I'm actually, I have a few standbys next week, so hopefully I'll get a few more streams out for you as well. It's been crazy. The last 8 weeks I've done, 2 months, 200 hours pretty much, max hours. I've been bouncing off 100 hours from 28 days consecutively, which is the maximum amount we could do for the last 8 weeks. It's been, hard work, but great fun, and I haven't had too many problems or too many delays. It's all been depicted in the media, so all looking good there. Anyway, here we are, cold and dark. I've done nothing except attach the fuel truck and the stairs and open the door. That's about it. So what I'll do is jump on in the aircraft again. This sim is absolutely stunning visually. This is live time, live weather. You can see the sun is setting. Hopefully there'll be a little bit of sunlight left by the time we get to the Faroe Islands. Oh, yeah, that'll do. There you go. It's like Microsoft Flight Sim 95 in there right now. But if I reset the camera, there we go. Oops, I could jump into the cockpit. There we go. Thank you very much. Lots of stuff coming in there. Firstly, 4 months as a member to Bubblegum's SG, 4 months, just 3 months as a member, 4 months, not sure, but I've been watching your tutorial since 2018. Your channel got me into flight simming. I just want to say thank you. You're most welcome, Bubblegum. The channel's over 5 years old. Thank you very much for your support as a member as well. I hope you're enjoying your time as a member too. Thank you indeed. Tom Hates Cats for the £1 donation. Being generous whilst being drunk probably isn't the way to go, even if it's 2 AM on a school night. Is Jim Boy and Scouse unbelievable. Tom Hates Cats, you should be drinking on a school night. Behave yourself. Thanks for your donation. $10. Thank you very much. Ethan Bleeker as well.
Afternoon, Cap.
Hello.
Celebrating passing my PPA check ride earlier this week.
That's what I like to hear.
Thanks for being a huge source of inspiration and entertainment along the way.
You're most welcome, Ethan. Thank you very much for the $10. Congratulations, passing your check ride, your private pilot's license check ride in the United States. Very exciting times, and you have so much more freedom in the US to enjoy general aviation, unlike the UK, which is a little stricter and a lot less freedom with controlled airspace everywhere. But amazing. Thank you very much for your donation as well. I'm sure you'll get a lot of congrats in chat, as I can already see Dealey has. Excellent, well done to you, sir. Thank you very much indeed. Stephen, where in Norfolk did you go? Old Hunstanton. I'm from Lincolnshire originally, and holidayed a lot in Norfolk as a child and as a teenager, and my grandfather had a house there years ago, so it was nice to go with a trip down memory lane there. So yeah, I was in Old Hunstanton for a couple of days. Just realised it's the Faroe Islands. I've requested this. You did, Aaron. I had flown to it before, and I have flown here a couple of times before as well, but it has an excellent RNAV approach. Great way to test PMDG's LNAV and VNAV. It's a bit of a twisty, curvy one onto runway 30, so we'll be having a look at that later. Excellent. Just watched your tutorial for the 737NGX from 5 years ago. Flight Sim has come so far in a short time, said PPLFD. Yeah, my goodness, that was my FSX tutorials with dodgy microphones and all that sort of stuff. The quality of the content should be a little better now, but amazing that you're watching an old video there. Microsoft Voice is a little quiet. Yes, I'll have to turn him up at some point. I'll have a look at that for next stream. Right, anyway, we should perhaps get the show on the road. So, as I mentioned, completely cold and dark. I have the operational flight plan as a PDF here on a second document, so you can see flight time. Someone was asking there. 1 hour 32 minutes. We're going up to 38,000 feet. 130 passengers, maximum capacity of the 600. We're taking 130 passengers on this flight today, and I'll bring up Navigraph several times, but you can have SimBrief integration now, which is pretty cool, but I'll be putting the routing in manually, which is what I do at my operator. Right, let's see. Oh yeah, well done England, by the way. Yeah, no spoilers, I guess, but I'm sure most of you were able to watch that live. Yes, we've just won the World Cup. Was it the World Cup or Euros? I haven't been following, if I'm perfectly honest. I'm not a big football fan, but well done to the female England team for winning the football there. Amazing. We won at something excellent. And the F1 I missed earlier. I've been out all day, but I'll catch up with that race later. Right, so let's get the show on the road. Battery on. GPU is on the bus. Electric hydraulic pumps can come on. Landing gear lever we can verify is down. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green lights, and then we check all the aircraft documentation as well. Let's do the fault and fire tests. FPS is excellent in the PMDG, I must say. There's the squib lights. Let's do the fault test. So we have down here fault, APU detector and op, master caution overheat detector, so that's the correct guidance. Fire test, fire bell, engine overheat, warning lights, wheel well, overheat detector, and the warning light is illuminated too. Up here on the overhead panel we could arm the emergency Emergency exit lights are now armed. We'll test the attend button. Now again, let's have a look down here. So we're taking 130 passengers on this sector. Let me just bring up the PDF here, which is a full load of passengers with no checked in bags. So we're going to have a zero fuel weight of 48.4. So let's go into the FMC here. We're going to go to ground services. We're going to take an extra bit of fuel. Just want to check the fuel burn on this aircraft. So this is the 600 profile. I'm going to take an extra ton, which is about 30 minutes, so allow me to have 2 goes at the approach in case I cock it up. So we'll go for 8 tons of fuel. Our alternate is to come all the way back to the UK to Inverness. So let's go for 8 tons. We'll start fueling. And we'll go to the next page here. We're going to request 130 passengers, which is the maximum capacity for the 600. And what do I need to request? The passenger bus, don't I? Alright, let's get the bus here first, and then we can start the boarding shortly. Are you a real football fan? Not really, Aaron. Thanks for subscribing there, Daniel Grieve as well. Are you on Vatsim? I am. The Packer, aka Andrew. Lee Russell, 15 months as a member. Evening Skipper, hope you are doing well. Very well, sir. Thank you very much for your continued support as a member. I hope you are fine. Thank you, Vanguard. Are you doing a return trip also? No, just the one sector today, I'm afraid. Just the one sector. Right, working our way back up here. So we won't put the fasten seatbelt sign on because we're still refueling. Working our way down here, we can check the flaps are up, which are matching the indicated position. Looking very clean and new, the 600, even though it's a very old aircraft. We'll go here. Nav data out of date? Yes, I don't think Navigraph has synced it yet, so we're until May 22, so it's about 2 months out of date. But I checked the Navigraph FMS updater. I had it for the 700 but not for the 600, and it said it was up to date, so I guess that has to come here. Hopefully not much has changed in 2 months. Check the config warning. You'll see I have a Yoke Cam all set up and ready to go, so we'll check the thrust levers. There's the config warning. I'm sporting jeans and a blue short sleeve t-shirt today. Check the squibs we've done. Cargo fire warning test. Forward aft discharge, and we'll have to imagine we saw the warning light there. Transponders set to 2000 and off, and rudder and trim is 3 and 0. We'll check the gear extension door. That is closed. All manner of bacteria growing in that thing. Ooh, oops, pulled that. Hopefully that won't cause any problems later. Circuit breakers are all in. We've got Ryanair's 737-700 there, SEV, and up there on the overhead panel, we'll check the stall warning. Okay, need a little bit longer, 4 minutes since we've had AC power to test that. Mach airspeed warning test is done. IRS to nav. And that should take us, drumroll please. Should come up straight away. I've got the realistic alignment time on. There we are, 8 minutes for the alignment. Circuit breakers are all in. Looks like the passenger bus has arrived, so we'll go into the FMS. Start passenger boarding, and the fuel is being pumped on as well. Excellent, looking good so far. Start boarding, Captain. I have Cologne. Kevin, PMDG said on their forums that you can copy the nav data from the 700 to the 600 manually if you want, until Navigraph updates the app to recognise the 600. In hindsight, Kevin, that would have been great to have read, but no problem. I'm sure a couple of months difference, there shouldn't be too many issues waypoint-wise. Andy, can you start the boarding, please? I want to get these nutters off my bus. They're on their way. Ethan, do I have time to go grab my laundry out the dryer before boarding? Don't want to miss the flight. I don't think a passenger's ever said that before, but off you go. You should just have enough time. Danny, do you get additional documentation for the 736? I don't think so. I think it's the same documentation. But yeah, guys, my top tip for you, I mean, 600, the fact that they've released it at $35, I probably think it might have something to do with the Phoenix. Who knows? I doubt they were originally going to have a standalone release for $35, but I can't recommend the 700 now. I mean, what do you get for the 700, which is more than twice the amount of money? You get 2 additional variants. You get the BBJ and the cargo variant, but the 600 is 3 meters shorter, and you get everything else extra. So I'd thoroughly recommend the 600. It's an absolute bargain at 600. You get all the PMDG goodness with that one, but the 700, yeah, sort of don't see the point of that now. I think it's still reasonably priced standalone, but you get it for half the price in a slightly shorter variant.
30,
thank you
20,
very much,
10.
Stefan Hayner, for the $5, sir. That's very generous of you. Thank you. Howdy.
Howdy partner.
Hello.
I've fallen in love with the Dash 600. The thing is a proper pocket rocket and I highly recommend full toga power on takeoff.
Thank you very much, Stephen, for the $5. It's very kind of you. It is a pocket rocket of the NG series. It is the smallest. The 700 I have flown, guys. I have gone full rated thrust for departure as well because we couldn't take an assumed thrust. And I was empty. And after we cleaned up and we were up at the upspeed climbing, we were doing 5,500 feet per minute in the climb. Those sort of rates of climb are not unexpected with an empty 600 or 700. So we'll see what we could do. I've got a funny feeling I'm going to be peer pressured into going full thrust for departure. I'm going to use about 800 meters of runway, but we'll do it for sure. Merchandise has been purchased. Thank you very much for Jordan, who's just bought a Flight Deck to Sim sticker. I don't know if that's the member. I can't read the comics. It's all tiny on my screen, but thank you very much if it was you, Jordan, for your continued support. If it's a different Jordan, thanks for purchasing some merchandise. Very much appreciated. People kicked off about the $50 price tag, so they dropped it. Yeah, to sell each variant for what is it? 70? What's the 700? $75. I think to do each one would have been a bit too much. Lots of fictional liveries down the line. Yes, Andy, I might buy this when I come back from holiday if Mrs. 1302 hasn't spent all my money on gin-based cocktails. Unbelievable. Hello, Anthony. Wish they'd get a tablet developed. Think they're working on it. They've been saying working on it for a while, but I believe the 800 will be including a tablet, which is good. Weren't they always planning on the 600 being cheaper? Absolutely no idea, but it is a niche. It is a niche. Power, stole aircraft. Yeah, all right, we'll go full thrust. Okay. Right, let's now have a look at. Well, I don't even know where we got to. We did the safety inspection checklist. We've started the boarding. Let's grab some weather. We do have London Centre on the line, who have already passed me their PDC clearance. And there's no 80s here, so I'm just going to go off the METAR, guys, for Liverpool. There was an 80s previously. So right now, Liverpool is clear skies, 17 degrees. QNH is 1019, so I can set that here. We'll set the MFRA 1,000 feet above, so 1,080 will do nicely. This will be the height at which we accelerate in the event of an engine failure. Heading off to the west. There will be no terrain, we'll be over the Irish Sea there. So 1,080 is set. We'll pop that down for now. Turn up the lighting. Do like the lighting in this sim. And we can now go straight into loading the FMC. We'll actually select traffic. I had a TCAS failure the other day at work, but it did come back on eventually. But there's actually no real limitation once you're en route, but it did flash off for about 5 minutes, then came back on. Obviously, it's something you want to have, and from the MEL, I think it's quite restrictive. Right, so let's load up this flight management computer, bring up the OFP as well. So we're going to go to FMC. So we have a couple of bumps outdated AIRAC there, which we've already discussed. We are in Liverpool, so that is Echo, Golf, Golf, Papa. And we'll put our coordinates in, GPS left. They've updated it so the ICAO code now correctly displays on the scratch pad, and we're going to Vagar, which is Echo, Kilo, Victor, Golf. Now I think on release, Microsoft Flight Simulator didn't had the whole island missing, or the airport was missing, but pleased to see that the airport is now there. It is only the default airport we're using today. It's Alpaca 736 X-Ray. You can hazard a guess of how I dreamt this call sign up, and we'll be departing. Oh, it's the old FMS. We have the VNAV button, so I need to get used to all this again. Departure 27, Pole Hill 4 Tango, and on my PDC, I have been cleared on this SID. And then we're going to go here from Pole to a bit of typing, I'm afraid, to do here. Up November 601 to Shap. We're going to go straight up to our cruise level at that point. From Shap to Upper November 601 to Tala. That's one of the arrivals into Edinburgh. Oops, have I typed that on there? Upper November. Uh-oh, this is where there could be an issue, the fact that the FMC is expired. Upper November 601, Upper November 601 after Shap. Yeah, it's not liking that. So what I'm going to do is do Shap direct to Tala. It's fine, it'll just be a few waypoints missing and maybe a slight track change, but in reality, I've never seen an issue with it like that, because obviously we have the most up-to-date FMS installed. From Tala, direct to Grice, and then direct to Nesdy. From From Nesdi, it's direct to Ulap. From Ulap, direct to Keseg. There's Keseg. And it's direct to Rakup. We have a lot of directs now on real-world OFPs too. Very few airways. A lot of the routings now we're just doing directs between waypoints. Then to Suda. That's the beginning of the arrival of one of the transitions. Now we're going to be flying RMP Victor. It's because it's a nice wiggly one. It'll be a good way of testing the LNAV update. I did a good job on the test sector earlier, and it's going to be via the Suda transition. So let's just check the routing here. We'll go to plan, just make sure there's no discontinuities. And I could already see, yes, there's a slight error here. There seems to be a blue dash line. They should all be perfectly joined up. I noticed this on the test sector as well. Let me just activate and execute that. Yeah, that ain't right. So it still needs fixing or fine-tuning. So it should be looking a little bit more like this. So straight ahead 1.5 DME, it seems to have just done that, a sort of half turn, and then it'll hopefully stitch that up later. But bug 1 discovered. Let's check the rest of the routing. Let's just get rid of the navigraph there as well. We'll use LNAV for departure and see how it gets on. But if you actually have a look at the arrival here, it's certainly looking much better. They've certainly improved how the magenta line is depicted on the ND. And you can see this is a lovely approach to test with LNAV and VNAV. It is radius fixed, and I don't think they've quite modelled RF legs correctly like we have in the Zebo mod yet, but it does quite a good job. So we'll see how it gets on with LNAV, VNAV. It's all coded, so it should be able to maintain the lateral and vertical path all the way down. There's no discontinuity, so we'll activate that, execute. Well, I've already done that. Perfect. It's some pretty basic stuff. Well, it took Zebo a long time, Danny, to get that coded correctly, but it has every single one of the 25-26 waypoint types programmed into the mod, and its ability to read that off Navigraph charts, so you get a nice, accurate depiction of everything on the ND. Ben's Mob Gaming, please fly safe. We will do. Larry, kind of curious about letters appearing in flight numbers. I see or hear about European carriers doing it all the time, but I can't say I've ever seen a practice or on major US airline flights. Yes, they do. Often airlines have a different call sign and flight number, but they can vary or be quite similar to the airline's ICAO code and IATA code too. Thanks for subscribing there, MSK Joad and Kevin Tate. Okay, this is good enough. Remember to hit the like button. Thank you very much, Anthony. Hope you're doing well, Nortsky. Nice to see you in chat here this evening. There we go. Doug Kite, 26 months as a member. Thanks for all the great content, boss. Nice to catch one live today. Hope you are doing well. Thank you very much, Doug, for popping in. Thank you, everyone, for popping in on this Sunday evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Right, so looks like, I hope that the boarding is complete. Fueling is done, so we've got 8 tons on board. We can now pop the seatbelt sign on. Let's get the FS actions here. So let's go to ground services. We won't release the ground power just yet, but we'll release the fuel truck and we'll release the stairs because boarding's complete. And we have 130 passengers. That's all good. We'll imagine the bags are on board, even though I have 0 kilos depicted. And I'm just going to go here to the doors, make sure they are closed. Oh, it closes it all automatically, but there you go. You can see everything is getting stowed. I do like all the ground equipment that comes with the PMDG 737. It's a pretty cool touch. Right, so zero fuel weight is 48.4. That should be matching our operational flight plan. There it is, 48.4, so we are estimated is matching our actual. Reserves for our alternate, so our alternate is to come all the way back to Inverness if we have any problems. There's no suitable alternate around the Faroe Islands, so you can see here, not really depicted our routing, but if we had to divert, we have to come all the way back south to Inverness, which is why our reserves are quite high. So we need 3.1 tons to divert from Vagar in the Faroe Islands and land in Inverness with our final reserves intact. So we'll put 3.1 here for the reserves. Cost index we'll use is 30 at Alpaca Airways. We'll be able to go straight up to our cruise altitude of 38,000 feet, which is executed. We can set 38,000 feet up here. Elevation in Vagar. Bear with me. I'll just crack open one of her charts over here. So open charts for Vagar approach. It is 280 feet, so we'll put 300 here. There we go. Cruise wind, we'll have a look at the operational flight plan for that. So top of climb wind, let me zoom on in, is 278 at 62.
50,
278 at
30,
62.
20, 10.
Thank you very much, Sammy Tech Cookie, for the €2 donation. It's very much appreciated. Thank you.
Smiley face.
Thanks for the smiley face, buddy. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing well on this Sunday, indeed. And lots of stars and very pretty now, these super chat things. Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate it. Transition altitude in Liverpool is 5,000 feet. Unable cruise altitude. Are you sure? Should be able to do that on a sector of that length, but I think that's probably a little bug of some sort. What in the world? No, what is going on here? Why is it 327, 328, 329? Yeah, that's not right. Should be yeah, that's an issue. So, you know, we should be right up at 37,000 feet, but it looks like we've got about 300 miles doing some sort of very steady climb and then very steady descent. Have I not? Maybe I need to put the cruise level in or something. No, that's rather buggy. That's as someone has just said in chat, balked. That is a balked vertical path. Let's see if I can find a top of climb. No, there's no top of climb or top of descent circle there. Oops, OAT rather than ISA deviation. What did I put there? Did I put something else there? Not so sure. Top of climb, ISA +5. No, that's all good. +5. Right, you guys want me to go full thrust at 24k and an empty 600? No, I'm gonna be going absolutely. Nah, this is gonna be insane. Do you want me to do it 24k bump? God, this is gonna be insane. Flat 5, 18.2 V speeds. Look how low the V speeds are, and that's completely. Oh, hold on, I've got Navigraph up. I've got all this sort of stuff up here. 130's V2. And we've got 6.44 units now. They do seem to have fixed the trim wheel speed now, which is good. So the wheel a little bit slow, even with flaps up. Should be a little bit quicker, but the actual speed at which it's trimming is close. Speed and power, Captain, absolutely. Yeah, so we just need to keep an eye on that. The legs page, this is a little inaccurate with regards to all these altitudes. I mean, it seems to think that it takes 64 miles to climb 4,000 feet, but hopefully by the time we get up there, that will have sorted it out. So yeah, a few little bugs and glitches. Right, overhead panel. Let's turn up the panel lighting up here. We'll put on the yaw damper. Fuel pumps can come on. I want to get pushing back now, really. Just a galley switch on the 600. We'll get the APU up and running. We'll put the right igniters on. Window heats can come on, and that's all set here. The air conditioning and pressurization panel, again, there's only one recirc fan. No trim air system in the 600 or 700, so we'll leave those in auto. Packs to auto. And that's all looking good here. Right, so flight directors we can pop on. We're expecting... Well, guys, I've been cleared on my SID, so it's a pole 4 Tango, 4,000 feet. And the squawk from my PDC was 0530. So let's set that now. 0530. And we'll put that to out off because we're pushing that shortly. So let's have a little talk about the taxi and SID. Bring up the charts for you here. There we go, so we're on stand 53, pushback to face south, out via Tango left turn, and then we're going to go all the way, runway 27, we can take Golf Alpha, whichever intersection with the thrust we've selected here, and the departure is the Pole 4 Tango. It's going to be climbing straight ahead, 1.5 DME off India Lima Quebec, which I have tuned. You can see it's actually, well, it's incorrectly got the wrong ILS active there, but they've got both ILS is the same frequency here, so hopefully it will change over to India Lima Quebec. It's then going to be a turn, so it's depicted correctly on the legs page. There's a 018 track, it says 019, intercept the 240 radial inbound to Pole Hill, so it is all coded correctly. Ah, look, it seems to have now, there we go, there we are, perfect. It seems to have now correctly drawn the right picture, so maybe it was having to execute something for it to work in the PMDG, but there, that's looking good now. Bravo point for the 1.5, 019, there's the pole 3-2, 3 to 4,000 feet. Yeah, only says 3,000 feet or above, but then we do have 4,000 at the 242 Zulu point. Zulu's here because it's the 26 less with the alphabet, and then Pole Hill VOR is 12-1, and that's backed up on standby 12-1 and 12-1, and we've got the courses 062, 062. So it's all depicted correctly in the ND. FMC's loaded, we've done with the performance. We'll select map here, and we'll get the pushback tug connected. We'll get on our way. Does the PMDG 737 from Microsoft Flight Simulator have a 2D panel? It doesn't, Sammy Tech Cookie. That was just the older FSX variants. I don't know if the prepared version does either. Oh, looks like you entered 5 into the temp field instead of ISA deviation field. Is that different to ours? Ooh, okay. Yeah, okay. My operator, this is ISA deviation. This one's actual temperature. That's, you see, my operator, we have a slightly different FMC input there. So this one's actual outside air temperature. Got you.
50,
different to ours.
40, 30, 20,
so minus 53.
10.
Thank you very much, Noah.
Cap, remember, this 737 was built from the ground up. Whatever issues you're experiencing are Asobo's fault. Rolling eyes face, smiley face.
Thank you very much, Noah. No comment on that one. Asobo do insert updates which cause issues, but plenty of devs do come by and fix many of those issues as well. I know PMDG have had a lot to say about it, but yeah, I mean it's getting there, and there's lots of pro things with this aircraft, or positive input I would certainly give, but I still have my favourite 7.3. Excellent, we're all looking good there. All the rate to RTO. Let's get better. Well, it's not better pushback. I always forget the name of this one. Ambitious pilots pushback connected. Let's pre-plan it and get the tug connected. So loading. This is a great little plug-in. So we'll do something like this. And we'll drag it back a little bit further as well. There we are. Enter. That should be on its way. APU can come up on the bus. And we shall now release the chocks and the ground power. So FS actions. We are going to ground services, release ground power, and remove the chocks. There we go. Right, what we're doing here. Excellent. Takeoff page. Right. Where's this tug? How do I request pushback? Here it comes.
This is ground. Stand by.
Excellent. I missed the angry tug driver, I know. Why do you prefer the Zebo mod? They're both great add-ons, but the Zebo just utilises X-Plane, and aircraft in that sim do handle, in my opinion, a little bit more realistically. And the mod has more detailed features, certainly with automation and FMC logic and things like that. But this is getting there. This is getting there. Right. Anyway, there's no ATC here, but I do think I need to call up London South. Let's have a look on the VATSIM map. I always forget on VATSIM what the situation is.
The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed.
When there's no dedicated controllers.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
So, oh, which centre is this I'm under? I can't even see this area.
We are cleared for start and push.
It's Unicom. Okay, thank you.
For push start. Please release parking brake.
Oh, here we go. I'm not even ready yet. I'm going to get please release parking brake for the next 2 minutes. Right, let's have a little look around us. Oh, looks all clear. Right. Oh, no, someone's just beat us to it.
Please release parking brake.
Welcome. Go to Unicom. On Unicom. Oh, we're getting lowered now. Don't lower us.
Please release parking brake.
Are you using the SU-10 beta? No. Anyway, packs off. APU bleeds on, anti-collision lights on, master caution dual bleeds, parking brake will leave set for now, transponder to out off, which it already is at.
Please release parking brake.
Yes, I shall. Right, a bit of a cul-de-sac here, unfortunately.
Please release parking brake.
Yeah, cheers, Frank. Yeah, cheers, Astrodrew. Gex Garland. Any more? I miss Glenn the Gatwick refueler. Tough after his auntie came down with a nasty case of the park and keeps him away from the airport. Oh dear. What's that NBA fighter from Liverpool called? Let's imagine he's the tug driver, but he doesn't sound like a Scouse, this tug driver at all. Alex, what do I say next? You
Please
children.
release parking brake.
Cheers, Kellen. Thanks, Andy. Any more? Right, as soon as he starts taxiing,
Please release parking brake.
we'll push back. In fact, what I could do is I do a straight push. What's quite common is if they want to keep the taxiway clear, you can get pushed onto a stand backwards, so long as there's no equipment that could be affected by jet blast. And please let this be over with. He's given up now. No, not. Oh no, not NBA. What's it called? Oh, you know what I meant. Yeah, Paddy the Baddie. He's pushing us back today. Not NBA. Whatever it's called. You know what I meant. I'm gonna have a lot of banter over this now. UFC. That's it. Oh no. MMA, NBA, WWF, Premiership. Unbelievable. Let's imagine Paddy the Baddie is pushing us back today. Oh dear. I've no words. Anyway, we're over on Unicom. Oh no, it helps if I actually make it the active frequency. There we go. APU, yeah, that's on the bus. APU bleed is on. I hope there's a little bit of... Oh, hold on, let me just reset the camera. There we go. Love these wing camera views, they're so cool. Oh, we've got someone else pushing back now. Right, I might adjust this pushback here. As soon as the other one goes, what I might just do is... Can I adjust it now? I can do... What I can do is go manual. And I'm just going to do a straight push onto the other stand. Don't forget the parking brake. Yep. As soon as this guy taxis forward... There we go. So he's taxiing forward. I'm going to release the parking brake. Which is just... There we go. I want you to hold it down now.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
So what I'm going to
You
do
will start in the sequence.
is do it. Oh, how do I
minimums,
hold?
approaching minimums.
No, I just want to do a straight pushback. How can I just do straight back? Can I change that now? Oh no. Okay, hopefully you won't mind. Right, anyway, starting engine number 2. Apparently the audio's changed on this, but I haven't really had much of a chance to listen, but here we go. Just turn up sim. Cancel pre-plan. Oh, it's okay. N2. Low pressure. N1. Startup time, it looks really good. That sounds great. In the 600 to 700, the engines are much closer to the cockpit than in the 800. Nice, that's nice. I start looking out, monitoring engine number 2, 2, 4, 6, 3. Yeah, the engine starts very good. Very, very good. Do usually time the engine start. Oh, that's different to our clock. TCSR. That's different. N2. You get a Christian, absolutely. Yeah, the 600 and 700. You can see the wings. They're far closer. Far closer. Great. That's awesome sound. Very good. N2, good one again. Thanks for subscribing there, sweet FE4er.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
You're telling me to release it 10 times. Oh yes, so what they want you to do is hold the brakes down and then push it up. It's exactly how it works in the real
Parking
aircraft.
brake set.
Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
Can be a bit cumbersome if you don't have all the correct equipment. So
Ground.
you
Startup
know,
is complete.
it'd be
You
quite
may
nice to have
disconnect.
the basic parking brake
Roger.
option, which in a
Good.
desktop
Start.
sim's a little bit
Clear to
easier to
disconnect.
use.
See
It is
you
cool
at
that
the
it
side. Have a good
works as it
flight.
should.
Holding position waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Did you talk to ground? There's no ground online. Oh, ground has come online, literally just now. 12195. They were not online a second ago, so I have tuned up ground now.
Sorry, say again for Alpaca 6 Whiskey Romeo?
Reset your transponder, scope 216.
Anyway,
I've accidentally
imagine
reset
they've
your
shown us the bypass pin. We'll do the before taxi flight.
Squawk 2163 Alpaca 6 Whiskey Romeo.
And just asking again, are you ready for taxi or?
If I'm ready to taxi Alpaca 6 Whiskey Romeo.
Alpaca 6 Whiskey Romeo, Roger, taxi Alpha
Okay, flight
1
controls.
uniform and Alpha.
Full forward, full back, left,
Taxi Alpha 1.
and right. Here comes the rudders, left and right. All looking good. How is it going up on its own like that? The camera, I have no idea. What has happened here? This isn't me.
Victor, hello, you ready?
Okay. Why is that going up on its own like that? It's not me, look. Here's my Yoke Cam. It's just going up on its own. How do I disable this? It's like I'm falling asleep. Press escape. Ah, no. Oh, no. Oh, how do I stop this?
Taxi Alpha, hold.
It's in every view. Check you're not typing anything. No. Hat switch stuck. No. Right, well, obviously that one's a fixed one. No, my mouse cursor's not working either. I can zoom. I might just have to head offline here. Disconnect your yoke and reconnect. Right. Unplug and replug. Right, let's do the controller first. No, it's simply check my mouse now. No, that's not doing anything. Put the controller back in. Link to it. Oh, there we are. Ah. Oh no, it's doing it again. Disconnect the controller. Maybe crash system sorted. It stopped for a second. Let me. Yeah, it's right. No, so I'm plugging the controller. Goddamn sim. Right, I'm just going to disconnect for a second, guys, just off the network, just let that guy head taxi. I can always come back on until I fix this issue. Well, everything was... Wasn't this in your line training? Recalibrate the controller. Delete the access from your camera controls. Sorted if you disconnected. It is the mouse it's in op. It's Alpaca SOP, not to dispatch, isn't it? Well, I'm loving the look of my overhead panel. I've never seen this before. Oh, simulated oxygen deprivation, but it's in every view. Right, let me just reconnect the controller again. Okay, so in Yoke Cam, it doesn't seem to do anything. But yeah, unfortunately, I can't right-click and pan. Oh, yeah, if I press 1 to reset the view, and as soon as I get into the view, it just looks up on its own. So 4, looking up. 1, looking up. 9 for the FO's view, just slowly looking up. Ah! Let me just try and unplug the controller again, because that does seem to stop it. But it carries on going, so as soon as I unplug the controller, even though the controller's disabled, it's still doing it, so it's, I don't think it's the controller. I wonder if it's the... Alright, let's unplug everything one by one. So it's not the I don't think it's the Xbox controller. This is the quality content you get from a real airline pilot streaming. Right, let me just try... Let's try everything. Let's try the yoke next. That's the yoke, not the camera. Oh. Right, so it's a yoke, guys. The Boeing yoke is the culprit. Let me plug that back in. Yes, the yoke is causing the issue here. So I need to go to the menu and just say... Oh, hang in there. Right, everything's working again. So it's the yoke. USB power thingy? No, I need to... Let me just turn some cool background music on whilst I jump into the menus. So I need to disable views, and let's have a look here. I think if we go to control options, fly with the mouse then, unbelievable. Let's go to the yoke. Yoke camera, cockpit camera. Reset. Let's get rid of all of the view commands for the yoke, because I don't use them. So clear, clear, clear. Right, that's all camera. Yeah, clear this as well. All camera commands on the yoke have been disabled now. Fingers crossed, guys. You know, if you need any bug fixing for your flight simulator, email me at flightdatasim@gmail.com and I'll fix it for you. I hope. Go back, resume. Yes, ladies and gentlemen! Just can't teach it. Surely a thumbs up for that. Now you can address, you know, any issues with your camera views in this sim. You just link this video and I'll fix it. Let's go! Let's log back onto that sim, guys. Just see where we are. Right. Sounds like everything's okay. Do that control check again. No. A high level ground, it's Alpaca 736 X-ray. Yeah, we had some sim issues, we've fixed them now. We request taxi please, and we're currently on the Kilo apron.
Alpaca 736 X-ray, roger, reset transponder 3476.
And now squawking 3476, Alpaca 736 X-ray. So new squawk.
That was my fault for resetting it. Resetting all the transponder code.
No problem. Right, so 7 3
4 the Alpaca, see the 737
6.
Sunflight C pushing start approved.
That's no yoke, is it? I saw what you said there.
And Alpaca 736 X-ray, thank you, taxi Alpha 1 via Alpha.
Alpha 1 via Alpha, Alpaca 736 X-ray. Let's go. That was the guy who was behind us, so we'll just imagine we're behind him. Lights coming on, parking brake is now released, and let's do the config check. There we go. That's way too fast. So yeah, the engine spool up time is super quick. It should be about 20 times slower, but I think again that's just limitations in Microsoft Flight Simulator with thrust N1 curves. Anyway, on our way. Clear right. Clear left. Yeah, taxiing's still a bit. Taxiing, the 7.3 is great. Like the rudder inputs I'm making in the aircraft sort of turning at the same rate, but it's just a bit, again, static in movement. It's like blocky. But that's just again, that's a Microsoft Flight Sim thing. It's a small issue. It doesn't detract from the overall experience. Things like the lighting flashing up on the panel, that's awesome stuff. Yeah, that's awesome. This sort of stuff's wicked. There's Transavia. Actually, I believe we have a number of Alpaca CSLs for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I need to talk to some of the members about getting that fixed.
Alpaca 736 X-ray, you get more to Unicum 128. I am watching your stream and have a good flight. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you very much. 122 decimal late, Alpaca 736 X-ray. Thanks for the taxi. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Right, before takeoff checklist. So config. We checked flaps. We have 5, 5, green light, stab trim is set for departure, 6.4 units set, takeoff briefing. Pax auto bleeds on, V speeds are set for departure. We've got 119, 120, 130 set. It's a 600. We have much lower V speeds even though we're fully loaded. The departure is the pole 4 Tango, straight ahead 1.5 DME. Oops, it seems to have broken again. Right, we'll have to really keep an eye on what it does here, but the magenta line's not quite correctly depicted. We're going to climb straight ahead 1.5 DME, and then we're going to go onto a track of we've got 018, and then we're intercepting the 062 inbound to Pole Hill. Stop altitude 4,000 feet. NADP2, any problems will climb straight ahead to the MSA, which often that direction's over the RC 3,000 feet. That's it. All ready to go. So the braking is good, but this parking brake logic thing is cool. It actually matches the real aircraft. You have to hold the brakes down and set the parking brake, but when I push the brakes there's a bit of a delay now. I don't know if they've changed it. So if I'm starting the braking now, and it's like a just a second or so delay. There we are. So when we get airborne, I'm not sure what the airborne frequency is now, but we're on Unicom.
Liverpool traffic, Alpaca 6 Charlie Juliet for takeoff, runway 27, Pole Tango, traffic.
The sounds are good, and they've improved the sounds. Anyway, here we are at the whole point. See if LNAV engages with this little bug. Yeah, it's accepted it. Transponder TARA. So MCP is set, transponder TARA, strobe lights are on, and landing lights are on. Approach looks clear to the left. There's a TA there, but that's the aircraft lining up. There's an aircraft climbing downwind as well. Let's line up. And Liverpool traffic, Alpaca 736 X-ray lining up, runway 27 Liverpool. Did you re-execute the flight plan after changing the temperature? Yes, I guess I did. Yeah, slightly different there. And this is going to be ridiculous. Full 24k. It's going to climb like a bat out of hell, and I've got to level off at 4,000 feet. We're going to get out of choir at about 1,500 feet, guys. It's going to be ridiculous. We'll level off at 4,000, hand fly it, and see how we get on. You guys are going to find this ridiculous, but it will be realistically ridiculous. Off with brakes here, a bit too effective. And there we are. Still be at airshow departure. Look at the sun setting as well. Wonderful. Right, this is going to be insane. Just give it another few seconds here for the aircraft ahead. It looks like he's turning en route. Just see him. He just went behind that cloud. That should do us quite nicely. Right, Toga's in chat, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to the Faroe Islands. Where's the elapsed timer? There we go. Make sure we've got Yoke Cam on. Let's do this. Alpaca 736 X-rays, taking off runway 27. A little bit more stabilised. Set takeoff thrust. This is full 24k and a 600. Look at this acceleration. Airspeed's alive. 80 knots. It's ridiculous. Up we go. Very snappy, and we're airborne. Gears coming up. And we can only hold a maximum pitch attitude of 20 degrees. And you can see how it's still accelerating, even though the flight directors are commanding above 20. That is spot on by PMDG. Look at the flight directors though. The maximum pitch attitude is 20 degrees. Bug up. We can go straight to flap 1. Still have not fixed that. Oh, have they? Yeah, there they have. The trim audio stopped. Flaps up. Very realistic. Very nice. N1 climb thrust. Well done, PMDG. Apart from the wonky magenta line here, so I just want to see what happens. It's commanding the turn, but just want to see what it does here. So we'll keep going until we get out of quiet. There we are, out of quiet. Magenta line is looking a little off, and the upspeed's much lower. Yeah, because of because we're 600, 200 knots. The flight director guidance on departure there, very, very good. Seems to have done a bit of a lazy outer quiet though, sort of like done 700 feet then levelling off. The magenta line depiction is incorrect there. It's commanding up to 30 degrees. I just want to see what happens here. Yeah, that's... It's commanding what you should be doing. Oops, it's good there. Out hold. But it's just not correctly depicted on the ND there. Right, let's get trimmed down to 4,000 feet. That's quite out of trim here. There we go. Still need trimming here. The trim is nowhere near effective enough, guys, in this aircraft. It's same with the 700. So I'm trimmed. Right, if I let go of the control column, see this? I'm perfectly trimmed out now. If I start trimming those up, it's very slow to come up here. In reality, I'd be doing 3,000–4,000 feet per minute by now. So the trim again is just nowhere near effective enough, but it'll get there. It'll get there. Right, after takeoff checklist, gear is off. Brake to start switches off, water brakes off, air conditioning and pressurization. Diff is 2.0. That's level and set. We'll release the cabin crew. And that's it. 4,000 feet. Yeah. It's very lazy autopilot as well. In the real aircraft, it's rock solid on altitude, and we've climbed up to around 150–200 feet off our altitude there. The autopilot, it's a bit crap with an out hold. Well, it's not the right word. It just needs... They need to fix that. Right, we'll better sort this out. Again, it's not really doing what it should. What I'm just going to do is just help it out. I'll route direct to the Zulu point for it to help it execute, and that should have sorted it. And we're going to go up to our cruise level now, which is 38,000 feet. Set VNAV. Set standard. We've got VNAV path because we've got the altitude restrictions in. That's good. 1, 2. We should now get N1 VNAV speed. Up we go. The engine spool up time with the auto throttle. Very nice. And we'll bring up Pole Hill. Bye bye Liverpool. It's actually defending. What's with that though? It was your fault though. You trimmed it. Yes, Kalon. But when you engage the autopilot should overpower any trim inputs, and then it'll automatically put the trim. It shouldn't just drift off like that. Ideally, you should put it in trim though. There we are, I'm bound to pole. But yeah, the flight director guidance is lovely. Really nice and accurate on departure. And this climb rate here looks excessive, but this is exactly what you get from a 600 with full climb thrust. 4,000 feet per minute. And an MTNG is the same. Okay, look, the aircraft's not perfect. There's not a single flight sim add-on which is perfect. You've got to remember in all cases that developers are making a replication of a complex machine, and the PMDG is excellent, the Phoenix A320 is excellent, ZebaMod is excellent. None of them are perfect, but what they're doing in replicating how the aircraft behaves in a desktop simulator is extremely realistic and well done. There we are, passing 102, flight level 380. We'll do the pre-cruise checks now. So fuel, we've got 4 pumps on for now. We've got, we should have a little bit at the centre. That might show up later when we lower the altitude. And lights. Come off AP verify off. Pressurization is 4.0, climbing and set. Release passengers recall. There we are. Pre-cruise checks complete.
Minimums. Approaching minimums.
Tom Hates Cats, have you flown the A320 in real life? I haven't. Why is it max 20 degrees, Peter? I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Peter S, 21 months as a member. Good to see you back, boss, watching from the train on the way back from Wembley. Perfect end of the day. Thank you very much, Pete. Awesome that you were there watching the final. And I hear we won just before the stream, so amazing. Sounds like you had a great day. Thanks for popping in. Safe journey back, sir. There's the METAR from Vagar. It's a bit outdated, but I guess that's because the airport's closed. Hopefully that will be depicted in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Steve was in the 700 earlier today. Really hugs the magenta line now with the update. That's good to hear. And it looks like they've corrected. Look, there's a nice flyby waypoint there. We obviously had a few little squiggles on our departure. But look at this lighting. It is stunning, this sim. Every time I jump into it. John, what's the difference between max rate, max angle? Can you activate some? Can you active someone or active one for demonstration in the 600? Yes, John. You have to think about time and distance. Max angle is going to get you there in the shortest possible distance, so that's useful if you have to be at or above restriction, which you're struggling to meet. And max rate is going to be getting you there at the shortest possible time. So if they say please be level at or within 2 minutes or 3 minutes, you're going to use best rate. So max angle will give you a slower speed, but the shortest possible distance to climb to your set target. So if we go to the climb page, max angle, execute that. That speed is 222 knots. That's going to give us our best angle. Max rate is 251 knots. That's how to reach our targeted altitude at the shortest amount of time. Then econ is based off primarily your headwind and tailwind component in the climb, and also your cost index. But you can see, because I've selected a slower speed, how the aircraft is now climbing at a higher speed to bring the speed back, and this rate of climb is not unrealistic if you tell the automation to fly a slower speed in the climb with a fixed rate of thrust. We have N1 engaged at the moment, so the auto throttle is providing this N1 rated thrust of 96.7%. And you can see now, as we approach our target speed, the rate of climb will start decreasing to maintain that target speed of 251 knots. And this is the max rate speed. Now if I go back to econ, execute, the aircraft needs to accelerate to climb at the most economical climb speed based off our cost index. So the aircraft's going to slowly pitch down to give us a steady climb, maybe around 1,000 feet per minute or 500 feet per minute. Then once it's at the target speed, it'll begin again to pitch up to maintain 296 knots. The whole time the target thrust is at N1, which is the most efficient climb thrust setting, and that's calculated by the EEC. There we are, overhead Pole Hill. Oops. Looking good, guys. Kriguli, how much longer until landing? About an hour and 20 minutes. Actually, what's the sunset in Vagar? It's a little bit later. Great. Absolutely stunning. Plane Observer, what's the normal bank angle on a 737? 25 degrees? Yeah, approximately 25 degrees. At high altitudes, it's a little shallower. MacPack 22, is that the same as doing flight level change? Essentially, yes. The only difference is with flight level change, or level change as we call it, is that you're just manually selecting the speed. So you can select level change, and then you can just bug the speed whatever you want manually. In all cases, N1 stays engaged, or you can leave it in VNAV and push speed intervent to do exactly the same thing. It stays in VNAV speed regardless, except you're just now manually selecting the speed. And if you close the window, the FMS will bug the speed there. 22:36 according to the internet. Thanks, Danny. Is that local time in Vagar, or was that GMT? Yeah, it'd be quite nice to have a bit of sunset. We'll be chasing the sunset now as we fly northbound. Has it sorted out the legs page yet? Yeah, look, it's now updated the legs page to have cruise, whereas before it didn't. It sort of sorted itself out, and we do have a top of climb depicted. Awesome routing today. Ride overhead Edinburgh later. Very, very good. Heafy, is there a VNO speed for the 7.3? What is the actual term for VNO? I mean, are you meaning VMO or MMO? VMO is 340 knots. But VNO, what was that speed? I need to look that one up again. Yeah, maximum speed for normal operation of the structural cruising speed. So, yeah, 340 knots. What do you prefer, the 700 or the 600? As a consumer, I do not see why you'd want to get the 700 now. The 700, the only difference now between the 600 and the 700 is the fact that the 700, you get two additional variants. You get the BBJ and the freighter version. The 600 is just the passenger version, but $35 is a steal because the PMDG is excellent. Great product, automation great, everything is very good. For $35, that's a steal. But I don't see how the 700 is worth more than twice that. All you're getting with the 600 is a 3 metre shorter aircraft, and you don't have the BBJ and cargo variants. That's it. Massive note, current weather in Vagar is looking pretty grim. Apparently visibility of 4K and moderate rain. What do I need for the RNAV approach? I think about 2,000 metres or so. Thomas Huddy, yes. Will there be a 736 freighter? I don't think so. Steve M, did you copy the Navigraph files over the 700 folders to make the nav work properly and update it? Many are while they wait for it to be sorted out. Yeah, I learnt about that during the stream, Steve, so I do have a couple of months out of date on the old database there. And it did actually, we had an issue getting an airway in. Now, if I'm being very nitpicky, the main panel lighting should change the clock illumination. It's not. It seems to be fixed brightness, unless they have separate commands. No, that's for the clock. Yeah, the main panel lights is working, but it should be changing the clock brightness. But I'm being very. The actual lighting in this is excellent. Really like it. Still climbing well, 1,700 feet per minute. 10 degrees. Yeah, overall 9 out of 10 from me. 8.5 because of the wiggly magenta line at the start. But it's awesome. Stefan V1 Sim, I think, has a great view of the 600. He's planning on using it as a sort of bootleg 500. Okay. He loves the NG. He's secretly a Boeing guy. Well, he's an American. I should be the Airbus guy. Being from the UK and European, he should be flying the Boeing. Very nice. The bypass there. That's awesome. Yeah, it looks great. Absolutely visually stunning. Yeah, lighting is superb, no doubt. That's the sort of moon we have right now as well. I don't even know what that type of moon is. Scale 1 to 736. How would you give this aircraft? 685. Hi, Lister, hope you're doing well. Does the plane behave? Yes, AP, it's behaving well enough. It's pretty good. Thoughts on the new LNAV, VNAV? Yeah, I mean, the LNAV and depiction of the magenta line generally looks really good. We'll have a look at an hour's time when we're flying the approach. Didn't quite look, well, it didn't look good on the sit-down of Liverpool. It sort of, it messed up the magenta line there, and it didn't quite follow the magenta line, but en route here seems to be quite good. We'll have a good test of VNAV later. Again, I found VNAV earlier on the test sector. It sort of does this sort of lazy profile, so it'll get down idle thrust to meet a certain restriction, then it just does a sort of 200 feet per minute rate of descent. It's not quite how the real VNAV works. I know there's different variants of VNAV, but some airlines have a different one, but I'm pretty sure it's either meant to be level or do an idle path descent, unless on approach. Oh no, Listerman. Commiserations to Germany. Kayla, what's the fuel burn right now as we climb with full climb thrust? We're burning 3 tons an hour, which is pretty realistic at this altitude. So the air is a lot less dense here. And as we level off here, it's going to be a little more efficient, and of course the 700 and 800s. Beautiful.
Welcome.
Conquest Media, an approach with terrible weather would be interesting. Oh no, I don't want to have to divert all the way to Aberdeen. I think the meta has not been updated in a while at Vagar, and I think that's what Microsoft Flight Simulator uses to plug the weather in. Emil is a 600 something you regularly fly. I've regularly flown. I've never flown the 600 in real life. I've flown a 700 and 800. Infinite VNAV won't do that near level off to decel below the up bug anymore. It is still the same geometric option, unlike your airline. Yeah, we have. Well, I'm not going to give too much away. We have geo approach only. So is this variant of VNAV different to ours? Yeah, the 737-800. Very much looking forward to then. Sweet FER4. Some airlines have full geometric VNAV options, but I don't exactly know how that works. I think the weather in Microsoft Flight Simulator is such that it's more predictive than only meta. Uh-oh. Invert, any time frame on non-geometric options? Because that's what we have. I have seen full geometric options. When I was an instructor, we had the option in the simulator to select full geometric VNAV options, and I saw how it worked with regards to not using idle path descent all the times, doing shallow descent paths, but it never did sort of 200 feet per minute. And DM said it's best to look on the internet. Geometric and non-geometric path descents with regards to how it calculates. The VNAV uses its calculation to descend. A non-geometric path is sort of like idle thrust descent, whereas geometric is using a
50,
fixed angle.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Thanks a lot, Jet2 Aviator, for the £4.49.
Great stream as always in the 738. When do you switch the center fuel tanks off when they are empty, or is there a specific amount to leave in?
Thank you very much, Jet2 Aviator, for the £4.49. Great question. So we just simply wait until we either get the master caution for center tank pumps, which is around 0. So you see we have 10 kilos in here, so we could try turning it on, but because of the attitude we might get the low pressure lights stay on. Oh no, they've come off now. So generally when they get to 100 kilos. When we get to around 20 kilos, these lights start flickering. So we just wait until it says 0 and then just simply turn them off. They are designed to turn off automatically. So after 10 seconds of the low pressure light being on, the pump automatically disengages and then the light comes on. Great question. Thank you very much for the donation. Robert, when flying circuits-based training in the 7.3, do you pressurise the aircraft or leave it unpressurised as you only fly circuits at a few thousand feet? It stays pressurised, so the pressurisation mode selector is in auto, and it climbs up, and there is a slight differential pressure between the two. But yeah, if you had it unpressurised, the rates of climb you experience would be quite uncomfortable for the ears. You know, when you're driving down a steep hill in a car, you feel your ears popping. You imagine if you're doing in excess of 1500 feet per minute, it's quite uncomfortable. So the aircraft remains pressurised throughout the entirety of circuit training. Ever pulled the red trigger on the gear lever? Only in the sim. Gustav P. Svensson, what does the 2 buttons below Command A and Command B do? That is control wheel steering, a system I have never ever used, and it basically turns the 737 into an Airbus. So if I select CWS, we now have the autopilot no longer really following the flight directives, it's following any inputs I make on the pitch. So CWS is engaged, command has changed to FD, and if I make inputs now on the control column, let me turn the Yoke Cam on so you can see here. So if I start pitching down there and let go, it's just going to hold that attitude, and it will just do 1,000 feet per minute, so it's no longer following the flight directives. So the flight directives will command a change. Again, if I change the attitude up here, let go, it's just going to hold that attitude. It's going to go through the cleared level here, and the autopilot won't follow it, so it's just turned it into an Airbus. And you can just re-engage command, make sure you get command, and now it's following the flight directives. That's control steering. I have never used it in 11 years. Never used it. Center pumps can now come off. We have 10 kilos in the center. Now, if you have a little bit of fuel in the center tank, when you get to half fuel tank capacity in the wing tanks, there's a it'll suction feed any remaining fuel in the center tank for you. We were airbusing briefly there, Emil. So it's like a fly-wire system. Yeah, it's not fly-by-wire. It's still conventional pulleys and hydraulic systems, but it's just you're making the inputs on the control column as you would on the Airbus joystick. Let go and it holds the attitude. Fish burb. What kind of conditions that control wheel steering might be needed? So we actually use it in severe turbulence, which I've never experienced, and essentially it's difficult to maintain altitude with severe turbulence. So we engage control wheel steering, maintain attitude. We don't use out hold and just essentially ride it out. Axel, how do you calculate which engine rating you use for takeoffs? We're very fortunate in the 21st century to have access to an OPT app, which as soon as the 800 comes out, I'll begin using and comparing to the actual performance figures in the FMS. And we simply use the lowest possible thrust setting for departure, and that increases engine life, reduces wear and tear. And it's still within safe margins. Before the OPT, we used tables and charts to come to the same conclusion, to lower the thrust by either selecting a lower D rate or telling the engines this is the outside air temperature, so tricking it to provide rated thrust based off that temperature. John, do you know something about the VNAV speed band in the PMD? I think some of Southwest have that system in their aircraft. I don't know about that, John. Hugh, miss your Phoenix streams? Would you like me to jump back into the Phoenix again soon? We always love an Airbus. Route 2's been added to the Zevo mod, so I might do like a mini video to show you how to use Route 2, which is quite cool. I'd like to find the mod again soon as well. The flap lever and the level D sim more fiddly to use than the real one? No, the level D sim is identical in design, feel to the real aircraft. It is the same cockpit. Yeah, I hope well, I have great faith in PMDG releasing an awesome EFB tablet. It should have come with release. I mean, the tablet in the Phoenix is awesome with the Navigraph and SimBrief integration. Really cool. Overhead Taller, there's Edinburgh Airport coming up. We'll do a quick fuel check here, actually. We haven't done one yet.
Welcome.
Then we have a little look at the operational flight plan. So Taller should have been here after 24 minutes. Let's check here. 25, so that was probably because we were messing around at 4,000 feet for a short while, so that makes sense. Fuel on board, remember we took an extra ton of fuel. So we should have 6-1 on board. We have, oh look at that, 6-1, 1,800 burnt. And used 1,800. Fuel burn is exactly
minimums,
as
approaching minimums.
it should be, matching the flight plan beautifully. Very nice. A win. Tom, thanks for the 2 months of November. Hope you enjoyed your recent break, Captain. Thank you very much. Yes, I was in Hunstanton for a couple of days. And it was awesome. Nice break. Weather was good. A little bit sunburned. It was a little bit of a light breeze, and you know how it is when there's a light breeze and you can't feel yourself burning. That's exactly what happened. That's cool that the P3D versions have it. Heavy, have you ever used the newer fuel cut-off pedestal, and do you feel that change was needed? Yeah, I mean it's better than the original start levers. I think you have the option for this in the PMDG as well. You have the addition of a red light when there's a fire, so it helps reduce the chance of selecting the wrong engine. So yeah, it's a good thing, but I don't really I don't mind which ones we have. Carlin, what's the highest flight level you can fly? Maximum certified ceiling for the NG series is 41,000 feet. Yeah, interesting Black Docketer 08. Now, I can see what PMDG have done. They've made the parking brake controls more realistic. So in the real aircraft, to set the parking brake, you have to brake firmly on the pedals. You then pull that lever up, and then that gives you the... you can then release the brakes, and then the parking brake stays set, and then you just simply push the brakes to disconnect them. Now, it's been an option on the Zebo mod for a number of years now, but I actually don't use it because in a desktop simulator it's just easier just to flick the lever using a click of a mouse. Some people don't have the luxury of all the peripherals as well, so it'd be nice if they have the option to still use a basic parking brake setting, so just moving this switch. But it is working as per the real aircraft. Jonathan Johnson, yeah, I've heard that as well. They're working on a system to do more accurate RF legs. Yes, and now the approach we're flying is actually radius to fixed legs, but it doesn't quite do the curves right. It's sort of like straight lines, but it does fly them quite well. Having a look earlier, so yeah, that's good that they're bringing improvements there. How's FlyLife going on? Oh, FlyLife seems to be working so far. Hasn't crashed yet. 2 tons. I didn't think it was possible that far off. Can you get burnt? Can't get burnt here in 45 minutes of peak daylight. Yeah, I know, it's incredibly hot there. Gustav, how did you get the total fuel up? I think I only see the amount in the left, centre and right tank. So yeah, I've got the new totalizer here, which is on the newer 737 NGs, and the old school ones you just have the left, right and the main tank set to gauges. This actually shows you the total at all times, so it's pretty cool. Don't jinx it, I won't. Steve, I'm so many people moaning about the brakes, although 99% of them never read the info about it in the release notes, in fairness. Yeah, I mean, unless you know how it works, it's going to be a bit unusual, but for people who have peripherals, they're going to have to probably change some settings. I mean, it would be nice just to have the option to have a basic one. But, you know, we all want it to be as realistic as possible, so there's an argument as well. Can we see Edinburgh? Oh, there we are. There is Edinburgh down below. Ah, there's all the bridges. Forth Road Bridge, the other ones. No coverage on VATSIM. Nope, fortunately not. There's Edinburgh Airport. Some Scottish. Beautiful city, Edinburgh. Stunning. See straight through. That's very realistic. Looks great. There's an aircraft behind us on the same routing. Look, you can quite see there. Wow. Queen, sorry, thanks Jeddahofen. Well, further north we go. I do like some of these pre-assigned views as well. Classic. Guys, I'm actually going to have a quick break. Been streaming for an hour and a half, and when we get back we'll start having a look at the approach, discussing what we're going to do. I think it'd be quite cool to leave it live time. I'm hoping the further north we go, the more light there will be in the hours of darkness of the summer, or UK summer. There's a lot of light still here in this part of the world, so we'll have a look at that. I'll leave you in that stunning wing view. I think that's the best view to have. You can see the cod trails as well, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes or so. See you shortly. Thanks, guys.
Welcome.
Thanks for that little intermission, guys. Someone's joined me for the stream. Come here then. Up, up. Come on. Here. Come over here. What's this? He hasn't been here for a while. Stay. Come on then. Up, up. Yeah, no, not on your bed. Come here. No, he's really tired today. Come on. Up, up. I didn't bring a treat. What's this here? Come on then. Up. Here. Here, Jack. Come on. Here. Up, 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 up. Yay! What's this here? Oh, a big kiss. Hey, look, look. Yeah, that's me. Here, look, what's that? Yes, Yoke Cam is a little bit off the. Off there. You're gonna go see my ugly mug, aren't they? What's that there? Oh, he's down. He's down. He's around. He was just on his bed downstairs. He's just now gone to go on my bed. Yeah, good one. Dog nose shot. Yeah, there you go. Got to see his nose for the first time.
Minimums. Approaching minimums.
Hello, Massive Nerd. Thanks to the 8 months as a member. Superb content as always. Did you feel like your body is floating when initially descending, pitching down after flying for many years? I know the sensation you're referring to with the negative and positive G, but it's something you can very much get used to. And we don't get exposed to those sort of forces much in commercial aviation. The automation is very smooth. When we're hand flying, we are very smooth with the controls as well. So you get more accustomed to it, especially in turbulence. But yeah, it's something you just get used to. Anyway, let's jump back into the cockpit. There we go. So approaching Nesdy. That's our alternate if we have to divert from Vagar later. Echo Golf Papa Echo. And top percent's about 160 miles or 200 miles away, sorry. So in about 30 minutes from now. What's the arrival runway? Runway 30, Alexander. Whether I stay online or not, I'm not so sure. I don't know if we'll have any ATC. We'll have a look later. It's just, again, an airport that isn't designed for the amount of traffic that we have flying into there today. Imagine waking up next to a freshly cooked garlic bread, said Coda 101. Lovely. Daniel, I currently use X-Plane only, but have been considering getting Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Other than visuals, do you see any benefits? I mean, I've answered this question a few times in the last few streams. I mean, if you look at X-Plane 11 and Microsoft Flight Simulator's 2 standalone sims, they're both brilliant. If you want the overall best experience, I'm talking about the visuals, the simulation of flying a commercial jet airliner, I'd say out of the two, you're going to get more enjoyment or satisfaction out of a simulator. And I mean that. I think aircraft like the Mod handle far more realistically. I've flown the 737 for 11 years. Don't do much hand flying. We don't do much hand flying these days, but I do a lot of takeoffs, landings. In the simulators, level D sim, I've done a lot of general handling during the type rating, instructing. So straight and level, acceleration, deceleration, UPRT exercises, stall recoveries, and the aircraft in the X-Plane 11 handles in a far more satisfying way. Whereas this sim, it does feel a little bit less so. But the overall experience, I think, for this simulator is better. I mean, look at it. It's visually breathtaking, and I think for a lot of people that's what they want. I think the majority of people, certainly as a simulator enthusiast, I think having the ability to fly over our virtual planet, all weather, all times, and have it looking like it should is a huge selling point. Well, never-ending sunset. Well, absolutely, Danny. Remember, we're flying towards the setting sun, so the sun is setting a lot slower. Remember, Concorde, if you flew west after sunset, the sun would rise again. So we are slowing down the sunset considerably by flying directly towards it. Obviously, in Liverpool, it's dark now, but we've been following that since we've left. Steve, thank you very much. Very much so. The house move has gone well. Work has been extremely busy, but I have just had a lovely weekend off, and I'm actually I'm off tomorrow and Tuesday, so I've got 2 more days off. I'm hoping to stream again on Tuesday and do a little mini Zebo Route 2 update video, which has been, a lot of people asked me how does Route 2 work, so I thought it'd be easier just to show in a 5-minute clip. And next week I actually have a few standbys. I haven't had any standbys for 2 months. I'm actually flying just the one day this week. I'm going back in the simulator to do some training for a training day. There's a body, which would be cool, and then next week, the following week, I'm out of base for a couple of days. I'm actually travelling out of base, which is good. So they put me in a hotel. I quite like doing that because what they do is they have to arrange ground transport, so you can either get a taxi or drive yourself. And instead of flying, they give you ground transport, so you get like an extra day off, which is quite nice. What is the captain's yoke attached to my desk, Dominic? Sim737 pilot said. But no, just a general consensus, guys. I mean, I love streaming and doing all sorts of flights. But yeah, I mean, there's so many things I've not flown. I've not flown any of the InnyBuilds aircraft for a while. And I know they're busy developing aircraft for Microsoft Flight Simulator. But I want to take... I've not taken any of the PMDG aircraft on a really gnarly, busy VATSIM event with lots of holding and things like that. In fact, quite a few of the last streams I've done, minus the group flights, have just been random sectors from A to B. I'd quite like to do a GA flight again soon. I've not done a GA flight for a while. Enjoy the sim. Zebo, yeah, want to do a Zebo stream as well. Coda, ever thought about confronting PMDG about being part of their tech team? I don't have the time, Coda, unfortunately. And they have a well-established team, I think, of real pilots, including there's an excellent channel I'd recommend called 737NG Driver, who is part of the PMDG tech team, who does regular videos. I am imploring him to try the Zebo mod, but I don't think he wishes to. It would be great for him to have a look. So you should ask him on his YouTube channel to fly it, just so he can have a go. But I thoroughly recommend his videos if you want to stay up to date with the PMDG 737. So check that out. There's loads of guys making content now with real world experience. But no, I don't provide feedback to them. I did ask very kindly if they would be willing to send me a copy. I didn't get any response or reply, and I think Mr. I can't pronounce his name, but he did respond to someone on the forum. Someone sent it to me saying, well, we just don't know the guy, so we don't want to send it to him. So yeah, it's a shame. I've got a copy of it though on release like everyone else, and I've given my thoughts and impressions on it throughout, and yeah, you all know how much I like it. I might suggest a Tolis A340 stream with the last update. Lots of new features, but the textures look terrible in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I quite like the 340. I saw the MD-11 has had an update, and we all know that was released with a lot of problems. I quite enjoyed streaming that aircraft though, and I should think it's had a few updates since we last flew it. It's just a cool aeroplane. Maybe Qatar. What I quite like to do with those Microsoft Flight Sim group flights is sort of fly to a cool destination in a good aircraft, have a realistic flight, and then I join in online and do a group flight for a lot of people to join. I might look into that. Domino Mosina heading to bed before elbow surgery tomorrow. Bile. Oh my goodness, you broke it, didn't you say recently you broke it? So best of luck with that, buddy. Hope it's not too painful for you. Dominic, would you be able to give me a visual of your setup? I noticed that the EFB is directly in front of the control column. Well, see, I have Yoke Cam in a very good position, which I set up prior to the stream, which I don't like to move for two reasons. One, I might end up showing my face, but I'll show you what I can from here. So you know, here I have a notepad for VATSIM, so I can make notes as I would. Here's my yoke. This is my iPad, my personal iPad, so you can see I have Navigraph up at the moment, so I use that for the charts. I can also bring up Streamlabs controllers. The yoke comes with a little awesome metal stand, so you can just place it there. It's just all really cool. I've got two monitors behind me, my laptop, my keyboard here, you can't see it off screen there, but you see just at the bottom right, that's the corner of my laptop, so that's how I see chat during the stream. Yeah, I really like the setup for streaming and simming. You can always put a paper bag over your head and wear a mask. I actually do have a Flight Deck to Sim official merch cap somewhere. Good luck, Domino Cena. How would you compare the Dash 600 from PMDG and Level Up? Thinking about getting this, but I want to get your thoughts. Yeah, the Level Up I've flown. It's nice. The textures are great for X-Plane 11. This is by far a better product, and no offense to the Level Up team, it needs a lot of work. That aircraft, the flight model's a bit off, and it is very lethargic. This general handling is actually not too bad. Do prefer the mod, but it's actually pretty good. Actually, just zooming in here, but you can see, look, yeah, their magenta line depiction's pretty good. I'm just trying to think now, the real aircraft, it does just, on a flyby waypoint, just does come off the waypoint there, so that is really nice. And you can see the white line here is your trend vector. It's nicely on the magenta line, so they've definitely improved it, flying over waypoints. You are lefty. I am a lefty, Abbas. Emil, lefty. Yeah, left-handed, guys. Dutch Flight Sim Pilot, you think X-Plane 12 is going to be better with Zebo than Microsoft Flight Sim PMDG? I won't know until I've tried it. Wojtek, new LNAV VNAV options missed the start of the stream. Yes, go to the PMDG forum, have a look at the latest forum post with the release notes. Essentially, it's fine-tuned LNAV and its depiction on the ND and the way it behaves, and I've certainly noticed improvement. VNAV, I don't think it's had so many changes, just again fine-tuning, but apparently there's a whole comprehensive VNAV update coming at some point as well. Anthony, got myself a copy, thanks to your stream, now need to find a full PDF guide on it. Oh, Anthony, well, I've got you covered. If you are interested, check out my 737 playlist tutorials. If you go to my homepage, click playlists, I've got tutorials on cold and dark setups, full flights, both in the mixture of the original PMDG and NGX and the Zebo mod. It doesn't matter, they're both usable in either sim. Left-handers are in their right mind, love it. T-Man 41291, I had to run for a second, but not sure if you went over what I asked. Are you using your company's OPT or a product we can have for assumed temps and takeoff? Very fortunate, T-Man, to have obviously my EFB from work, which has the Boeing OPT tool on board. Directive flew out of split, and I don't know if the 737 calculates V-speeds automatically, but it said V1 144, VR 146, so I tried to reject and I made an overrun. How to calculate it? Yes, so the V-speeds calculated for the FMC, they don't know the length of the runway, okay, so it'll give you V-speeds based off no performance issues with the field length. Now, if you have a very short takeoff run, or where you're something known as field length limited, your V1 can be reduced significantly, especially when it's contaminated or wet, and that can't be calculated from the FMS. So you can have V speeds, you know, when you're field length limited of 120 knots, where your VR is 140. Now on the larger jets, it's far more common to have a difference between V1 and VR, but 737 for most commercial airports, V1 and VR is always around the same, unless it's wet. It's usually about a 5 knot difference then. No problem, T-Man. Fishbread, he thinks once they implement MMRs, the MMR is for the ultimate realism multi-mode receiver, I guess. Dini, looking forward to the approach. I don't do enough RNAV approaches in the sim and usually end up getting it right in the end, but I find myself behind the airplane compared to an ILS. A little more going on, you've got to make sure you utilise the automation, set it up appropriately, and we'll have a look at that now. Hello, Sip with Elliot. Fine, thanks. Hope you are well. Cody, just curious, what was something truly cool on the line last week? What was a special most people never know? Excellent scenery, great landing, agency comms. Not sure what you're referring to there, Cody. My stream's by the sound of it. Right, let's get set up for the approach into Vagar. I've got aircraft slightly ahead of us, 5 miles, and one slightly below. Is that their contrails? The win for Microsoft Flight Simulator it is. Look at the contrails. So that's the first time I've seen contrails from another aircraft in the sim. I'm guessing it is. Great, so across the pond in this. There's the aircraft behind us. Is it their contrails? Oh, so call this part of the job. Great landing. Pulling those off. Excellent. Right. Let's have a look at this approach then. Let's get the FMC loaded first. So descent page 250 below 10,000. We'll need to update the transition level first. Defaults to America. Oh, hold on. VATSIM has just pinged me. Scottish Centre's online. Oh, goodness me. Only pinged me about 5 minutes ago. Am I still within their airspace? Have a little look here. Oh, I am. Sorry. Let me just check in with Scottish Centre. 13552. I know, I've still got the PDF up here, guys. There we go, should hear Scottish now.
0 to the level cover.
Okay.
Roger, down slalom 150 level 5 at
Scottish, good evening. Alpaca 736 X-ray. Sorry for missing your ping there. Flight level 380 to Keseg.
Alpaca 73 X-ray, Scottish, good evening, Roger.
Perfect, so we have Scottish. And we'll now load up the OFP. So let's get the descent winds in.
02, welcome taxi Alpha, given way to the company taxi of Lima, Echo 1.
These charts.
And 1 Bravo. No Bravo.
We are by Scotland. So there's no arrivals into Vagar. We're going to fly the RMP Victor approach, which is a nice test for the aircraft. So we're going to go via Suda. Look at this nice curved arc. I know it's radius to fix. It might not do a perfect arc here. It's just more to test how it routes between the waypoints and how it's depicted on the ND. I know
Alpaca 73 X-ray Mac decimal 74.
Sorry, just confirm decimal 77 Alpaca 736 X-ray.
And negative, Mac decimal 74.
Decimal 74 Alpaca 736 X-ray. So they want us to slow down, be sequencing into Vagar, so 74, execute, and then you get the option for econ. And you can see our target speed is now reducing to decimal 74. So we're going to be flying this arrival, because I think it's the best one to test it. And the airport here, nice short runway, also narrow as well, not the standard 45 metre width, it's just 30 metres. And my operator, that's the minimum width runway we can operate onto, and we actually have quite strict crosswind limits for narrow runway ops, so something to bear in mind. So that's all in. There's no reference charts here, so we're going to go straight to that chart once we finish putting the winds in. So let's have a look here. So descent page, forecast. Put the transition altitude in, which is 7,500, so I'm just going to put 80 as the transition level. And winds coming in. Descent. Shouldn't need to execute this. This should just be typed in. It shouldn't have an execute light. I think that's a little buggy. Pretty sure anyway. 267 at 46. This is what needs executing. 266 at 34.
Minimums, approaching minimums.
And 100, 245 at 25. Expected QNH in Vagar. I'll have a look at that. Thanks, Mason Island. Let's have a look at this. QNH in Vagar is 1012. It's all executed. Superb. Fixed rings will be landing on runway 30 this evening. So runway 30.
Channel 1531 descent flight level 100. They'll be vectoring ILS approach runway 23.
4 and 3 times height. We're at 38,000 feet. So it's going to be /114.
Level 100.
Let's have a little look at the arrival here.
6941, surface 1050 degrees 6 knots, runway 06, takeoff.
So, RNAV approach, guys. So this is not using any ground-based navigational aids. It's using the FMC and its ability to calculate its position using all the aircraft systems to accurately fly a lateral vertical path to a predefined point, which in this case it's a radius to fix RMP with authorization required. So this will take you all the way down right to the runway using LNAV and VNAV. So a great way of testing the PMDG 73. Sorry, Mason, I forgot your comments. Just realised, got promotion to 3 stripes. Would have loved to join in, but got work at 8 tomorrow. Why not do our next MOGF involving the UK? Thank you very much, 8 Mason Islands. Yeah, we'll have a look. It's been a while since we've UK'd a MOGF, or even Europe. Actually, when was our last MOGF? Was it Europe? I can't remember. No, it was Transcon. We did Transcon. Yeah, so we'll have a look. We were in Europe before that, in Madrid, so we'll have a look there. Hope you're doing well, and hope you get some good rest before work tomorrow. Thank you very much. So, let's have a look at this routing via SUDA. So yeah, RNAV Approach, as mentioned, is a vertical and lateral profile coded in the FMS, which the aircraft could follow with a high accuracy. So we're going to start off at SUDA. Authorization required. So if I was flying a 737 here, my operator, I could not fly in this approach. Radius to fix required for the approach. We don't have that authorization yet. And you need permission to fly this too, so we couldn't fly it, but the aircraft should have no issues flying it at all. MSA is 4,000 all the way around, and coming in from the south at SUDA. So SUDA, 4,000 feet or above, checks in the FMC, and it's the initial approach fix. So we'll leave it at 250 initially. We're going to then route to Victor Golf 958, which is there, and I can already see how it's depicted on the ND. Looks pretty good. It's in a 10.7 mile arc, and what it's done, it's got all of these radius fix waypoints. In reality, instead of having all these individual waypoints, now I think this could be a worker. I might be wrong here. I think this could be a workaround with the PMDG, and it's just made little waypoints. In reality, what the FMS can do, it generates a curved line for you. Great to know for someone to post on their forums. Is this a PMDG get around? They've got RF085, RF086. I think they've just made these waypoints to sort of allow it to depict this curved line. Because I know radius to fix isn't coming. So basically what they've done, I'm pretty sure what PMDG have done, they've made their own waypoints, and it's just going to do little 5-degree chunks until it gets to the next waypoint. So you should have 958 and 985, which it does have. They've just made waypoints in between. So it's a sort of workaround to get to that waypoint. The thing is, though, this is actually how we do it in the real aircraft. If we had an FMS database issue and we had to build an arc, we would manually insert those waypoints using fix rings. So that's how we do it. It's a workaround, not PMDG, but Navigraph. Perfect. So I guess Navigraph have made these waypoints to allow a radius to fix to work. But in the mod, the Zebo mod has this working. It'd be interesting if anyone is flying us in the mod to see if they have those waypoints. Or they should. I think Zebo has programmed radius to fix to work. But it should work. They've just made waypoints in between. So 985 is the first waypoint there. And then to 984. Mandatory 4,000 feet and 160 knots. So you can see, look, VNAV is going to work to put us at 164,000 feet. And because we're in the 600 going slow, we should be still able to fly the flat 5 speed easily at 160. And again, here's some of these workaround points from Navigraph. Look, they've made these little RF points. So in reality, it would be a lovely smooth turn from 984 to 980. And what they've done, they've just made a couple of waypoints, drawn straight lines. So 81, 82, there's the waypoint there, 980. 980, 978, 976. 976 has 1800 feet. That is the final approach point, which is here, 1800 feet hard, which is fine. 2231, 2230 at 978. And it's a 3.6 degree angle. Now again, the PMDG seems to be missing the descent path angle. You should have an angle here. In this case, 3.6 degrees. The fact it has all the heights correctly programmed makes it think it will give us a realistic path, but you should have an angle there. Anyway, we've got 974, 972, 900, which is the missed approach point. Look where 900 is. It's right on the threshold. So this should take us all the way down to the runway point. We will just disconnect it because there is a slight difference between the runway QDM 305 and I think that last track 303, so it'll put you slightly offset, so you can just disconnect the automation approaching the runway. It should put you nicely on the PAPIs. Well, sometimes they don't match, but that's not the fault. But no, the PAPIs on 303.5, the path is 3.6, so it should be pretty close. So that's it really. It's quite interesting to see how Navigraph have accommodated RF fixes by making those waypoints. But it's a great workaround. So we'll just put that as a reminder for the final approach course.
Thank you. Jetix 1531, you have 41 track now to touchdown.
303, 303. 1800 feet is the procedural altitude, which is a hard altitude in the FMS. And we'll use the 3% missed approach climb gradient. RMP 0.1, yeah, that's so you look, the cross-track error is 0.05, so when we have progress page 4, this here can't exceed 0.05, which it already is. Oh no, actually cross-track error is here. Why? It seems to be missing cross-track error information, so in reality that information will just show you distance from the magenta line, so now it should be showing 0, but it doesn't seem to be modelled. They're missing the cross-track error there in prog 4. Anyway, missed approach climb gradient easily 3%. We'll use minimums of 525. There we go. I might have the weather radar on, but it's not modelled yet. RVR need is quite low. No, 900 meters. No, yeah, 900 meters with all the lights. That's pretty good. And if we have to go around, climb to 4,000 feet via the RNAV RMP to Magni. Hold at Magni, 4,000, 230 knots. Perfect, and then we'd have a go again. Yep, good job by PMDG and Navigraph to sort of, whilst they wait to implement more realistic depiction of radius to fix their workaround, seems to be programmed quite nicely. Let's have a look here in chat. Inver, I don't know if you're part of the dev team. Lots of useful information there. In real life, you're a captain or FO press member or skipper. Is it a workaround? Not PMDG, but Novigraph. I saw that. Navigraph database is doing that workaround. Cool. Flying the mod, but have unfortunately briefed the RP uniform. No problem at all. Hi Matters. PMDG still uses an old Navigraph dataset. The Zebo uses the modern dataset. PMDG still will upgrade next now that the new LNAV is live. Perfect, that's what I like to hear. Inver, VNAV will slow you down to around 200 knots up. After this, up to you. This is the change of latest release. So when you say it's up to you, how do you initiate descent, Inver? I mean, how's the VNAV going to work with this system, if you're saying it's up to me? Very strong crosswind, uh-oh. It is modelled, field is blank for cross-check error, less than 0.1 nautical miles. Oh really? In ours, Inver, it's if you're on it, just says 0. I'm very sure of that. I'd have to double check, but it is always displayed. EFB and weather radar coming, very exciting. Thanks for subscribing there, Scania 770, welcome aboard, buddy. Anyway, top of descent's coming up, guys. Just performance to come up, but we're short runway here. 400 kilos to burn, so 4.4 on arrival, 4.8 right now. That's how we know it's 400 kilos. Landing weight's going to be 52.8. Super light.
6 Whiskey Romeo, request descent.
Flat 40, order brake 3. Great when we get this EFB to compare it.
Descent flight level 200, Alpaca 6 Whiskey Romeo.
Excellent. You need to deploy flaps. So Inver, you talking about how to engage VNAV path? You know how you have VNAV speed with the speed window open in previous versions of the 7.3 before U14 FMS update? You used to select flaps and force VNAV path. With our aircraft, VNAV path automatically engages on approach, and with the speed window open as well. Just get descent in here. Alpaca 736 X-ray request descent.
Alpaca 736 X-ray, maintain your present heading, report ahead.
Maintain present heading 345 degrees, Alpaca 736 X-ray.
Alpaca 6 Whiskey Romeo, maintain your present heading, report ahead.
Maintain present heading, heading 350, Alpaca 6 Whiskey Romeo.
Stefan Hayner, thank you very much for your membership, buddy. Glad you enjoyed the content. You get invited to our members only Discord. Hope you enjoy using the custom emojis in chat. Thank you very much. So again, this is something our operator doesn't have. Previous PMDG aircraft years ago had the option of selecting VNAV out. We don't have it on our 7.3s. But here, what it's doing is reducing energy from the aircraft because we're getting high, which is it's called VNAV energy compensation, which is quite cool.
Alpaca 73 X-ray descent for level 200.
Set flight level 200, Alpaca 736 X-ray. So 200.
Alpaca 6 Charlie Juliet, Reykjavik offline, Unicom 122 decimal 8.
And we'll push out to defence. Just want to see what it does now. VNAV speed, interesting.
Chanix 1531, descent to altitude 3,500.
So this is a bit of U14 FMS update. So what I'm going to do is crank up the speed to 245 knots and just... Aircraft's now going to dive for the profile and we'll see what it does when it gets onto path. At my operating on our 7.3s we'll go back to VNAV path. Thanks Tom Hayes, Cass. Lovely to hear. Had a few drinks at 4:03 AM. Get some sleep.
Echo clear to Gatwick,
Cheers, buddy.
1 Delta Squawk 7250.
Thanks for the donation there.
Gatwick, Gotham 1 Delta departure,
If I just go for it and see what it does, you know how to fly, so it'll be fine.
Hotel Echo, correct.
So that when you're accelerating descent, the automation behaviour here is very good. Very good. 4,000, 5,000, this is not unrealistic. Our target descent speed is 280 knots, so it should capture the profile if I keep accelerating.
Alpaca 73 X-ray for traffic separation, turn right heading 010 degrees.
Heading 010 degrees, Alpaca 736 X-ray. They've definitely changed the VNAV logic here. It's not full U14. Just want to see what happens when I just want to see what it does when we recapture the profile in VNAV speed with the speed window open. What we get now is we get this goes back to VNAV path, FMC speed, and then thrust comes up to match the target speed.
Alpaca 6 Whiskey Romeo, resume navigation direct Sudor. Continue Unicom 122 decimal 8.
Navigation direct Suda and Unicom 122 decimal 8.
There's a little bit of deep bass sound here, which is awesome. You can just hear that in the background.
Ryanair 5 Alpha Lima, confirm the heading for me 350.
Apologies, heading 350 or 250, Ryanair 5 Alpha Lima.
Ryanair 5 Alpha Lima, we can make this work. Just maintain your present heading and report the heading.
What's this? FAC? Oh, this is some funky approach thing. Is this integrated approach navigation? We don't have that. Don't like it.
Chanix 1531, turn left heading 270.
I've never seen FAC before. But this is something in the real 7.3. But we don't have this option. So this allows you to arm approach, but this is integrated approach navigation. I'm just going to use LNAV and VNAV. How do I turn it off? FMC approach mode unavailable, glide path. Ah yeah, that's slightly different to ours in Verteris. So ours will go to path now in all phases if on path, even with the speed window open. So it's a slightly older FMS logic in here, or a different, I should say, different
Alpaca
FMS logic.
736 X-ray, resume navigation, direct rack up, and continue on Unicom 122.8. Bye-bye.
And right to rack up and 122.8, Alpaca 736 X-ray. Cheerio.
Ryanair 5 Alpha Lima, resume navigation, direct rack up.
Back to Unicom. So yeah, you can see it stays in VNAV speed, so this is different to ours. Ours goes back into path at this stage, regardless of this, and as far as I know, this is how all 737 FMCs now work. It was the U14 update. So if I close this now, VNAV path, that's what it should do automatically, I think, with the U14, with all U14s, and this would go back to FMC speed, and then you close the speed window. And now it's in old school path, so it's only following this in ARM. Oh, now it's gone. How come Final Approach Course has now disappeared again? There we are. Yeah, so I might pop offline, guys. It's no disrespect to anyone that's joined in on the sector, but with no ATC, complex approach like this, I'll see. I'll see what the situation is. There might be sufficient spacing now with the delayed vectors ATC gave us. Not really. Is an Alpaca very close to us? Look at this sunset. Stunning. Sounds great. Really, really quite good. James Ed just joined. LNAV seems to be much better. Yeah, it's definitely improved. Definitely improved. Yeah, so Invert, are you sure we're talking all descent phases, not just approach phase? Interesting. Yeah, so VNAV path, if with U14 updates, it's implemented in the mod. If you open the speed window now, it stays in VNAV path, even though you're on path. With the new U14 update, it stays in path. You simply then accelerate, and this is FMC speed. It'll just accelerate. In this case, it's obviously going to diverge from the path because it's in VNAV speed. But no, since U14, which is all our 737s in our fleet, from what I understand, U14 is a Boeing wide update for all the FMSs. It stays, the approach phase is no longer, it's in all phases. You can have that, it stays in path, on path now. If you're interested in there, if you type in on YouTube, you know, Flight Data Sim U14 FMS update, and you'll see it in the mod, and that was implemented as soon as, quite recently after the U14 FMS update came out. You know, myself and a few others instructed Zebo. There's a number of 737 pilots on the team. We explained how it works. It was based off a presentation from my operator, actually. Told him this is how it works, and he implemented it within a day, and that's how that guy works. Alexander Jacobs, you've got it. We call it common VNAV because I believe it's common to all of the FMSs. But yeah, that is not working in the PMDG. They've still got this older FMS system. So again, there's a slight little thing with the PMDG. Every time you pass a waypoint, it just does a slight path update. Usually it's sort of fixed one there. There's no ATC now, so what we're going to do, we'll step down to 100. Holding the speed quite nicely though. Taylor, when did U14 come out? Last year. Yeah, type in Google U14 FMS update and watch, just read the top link, and it explains the different changes in the logic. But they've not. That's not in the mod, not in the PMDG, but it is implemented in the mod now, which is pretty cool. But PMDG have had the same VNAV logic now for a very long time. I'll find the link. Hold on. So if the mods are watching, let me just update this here. So this happened to all 737 FMCs. FMC update 14, known as Fans 2, September 2019, so it's a bit longer. But this is now how it works, okay? VNAV path priority energy compensation maintains vertical path by adding thrust when a speed increase command is received via speed intervention. FMC will set VNAV target altitude to the current go-to waypoint constraint altitude if the waypoint is at or above. So basically it maintains vertical path by adding thrust now. Instead, previously if you opened it, it'll just stay to VNAV speed and pitch for that speed, and now it'll stay in path and on path and at speed there. And that was a U14 update. But it'll be just cool to have it in the PMDG, that's all. Oh dear, traffic 4 miles ahead. There's a little bit of the Faroe Islands in view. Looking good. So guys, you know, just because I quite like to test this without traffic, you know, it's sort of a first impressions and look aircraft, I am going to pop off the network. You know, it's no... I do apologise to those that join me on the sector. It's just because there's no ATC. I know no one's going to mess around, but I don't want the distraction whilst I'm testing this and showcasing this sort of approach for the first time. Flight Sim channel, this is the only sector today. So far, so good. Yeah, for $35 though, guys, this is, yeah, outrageously good. I just think they priced out the 700. I don't the 700. Unless you really want the BPJ or the cargo variant, just get the 600 for the sake of 3 meters. It's the only difference. You get all the goodies. I thought this was like a PMDG Lite. I thought $35 was the add-on if you had the 700, not a standalone. I was like, wow, that's really good. Cat, yeah, fuel in the centre tank increase. It actually does that in the real aircraft. When you have a slight attitude change, it sort of sloshes around in the tank, and sometimes you get a slight increase as well. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Is the aircraft good as the real thing? PMDG is supposed to be the best. It's very close to the real thing. There's always going to be, you know, it's very complicated to accurately model a high complex aircraft like this in a desktop sim. Both PMDG and mod are very good at doing that. There are some little quirks and differences, but they are very, very good. Anyway, there we are, approaching waypoint Suda. (4,000 feet), and that's a no, that's not mandatory. We're going to be well above that, but when we're a mile away, we'll step down to 4,000 feet initially. Yeah, absolutely. Notoriously tight Yorkshireman already had the 700. Even I had to buy the 600 when it worked out just over 28 quid. Yeah, absolutely. If you're new to PMDG, what a great way to test their product for a very reasonable price. But if you were thinking about getting the 700 and you've got the 600, I'd just stick with the 600. There is a scavenge pump in the NG, Matthew, but you have to have less than half fuel. So that's 3.9. You need to have 1,800 kilos or less to scavenge that last little bit of fuel in the centre tank. So I will put the centre tank pumps on. That will help get that last 100 kilos out. So those green dots represent the decel point from our econ descent speed to 250. Richard, can you use it for real flight training? So, you know, you can use it to help supplement flight training. From a handling perspective, no way. These are not good for practicing general handling. No desktop sim is, but for procedural practice and cockpit familiarization, they are a supplement to flight training, an unofficial supplement. They are good from a handling point of view, but they're not the real thing. Right, we'll step down to 4,000. Set the QNH 1012, 10,200, 4,000 feet. Standby altimeter is set. That's what Microsoft Flight Simulator is saying the QNH is. And that was the last recorded METAR, which has expired. And we'll do the post-cruise checks now. Fuel, we'll put 4 pumps on now. Lights, logo we can pop on. Angle of bank is 25 degrees. Pressurization 3.5 set. Seatbelts on. Recool. Checks complete. Yeah, nicely decelled. To our descent target speed at 240, just 5 knots below. Pretty good. Approaching Suda. That's to maintain 4,000 feet.
Minimums. Approaching minimums.
All the way until VG 984. Thanks, Yankee Fox 5 months. Great to catch part of a stream for the first time in ages. Hope all is well. Thank you very much. Welcome again, and thank you for continued support as a member. Really appreciate it, and glad you're enjoying it. Thank you. So next point to decel is 160 knots at 984. So far so good. Very impressed. And now these are little navigraph points. There's the decel point to start slowing down to 160 knots by VG 984. The distance between that and 984 looks good. That's a realistic decel point, which is good. Sometimes the mod can have decel points quite late. So someone with an Xbox can't log flight time in an FAA logbook. Correct. Wonderful. Thanks JS 8 months. How's the performance of Microsoft Flight Simulator, the PMDG via the Zebo at Expo 11? A commonly asked question. I think the general handling of the mod is better, and definitely they have more, or has a more detailed FMS, and LNAV and VNAV logic is up to date. This is a close second. It is excellent, but you get to enjoy the beauty of Microsoft Flight Simulator in a very realistic 737. So, overall sim experience, you know, it is this one. Because look at this. Look at the sea. Stunning. Although Vagar's looking a little bit unrealistic. Spoke too soon. That's looking a little dodgy. But hopefully as we get closer it'll look a little better. Anyway, I need to keep track of this arrival. So here's the navigraph shortcut which the PMDG is using to fly radius to fix. Instead of a smooth line, continuous curve, it's just made straight lines with these waypoints, but you can see it looks pretty good. It's a great workaround for now. Still descent to 4,000 feet. No major complaints so far. It is, Richard, it is by far the most realistic looking sim, although I am querying the geographical lookout of Vagar at this present time. But still, the lighting, spectacular. Yeah, some basic mesh, I think, for the Faroe Islands, perhaps. There we are, RF088, approaching the decel point to 160 knots. So far, so good. Impressed so far. It's held the speed beautifully in path as well. Someone told me that in the background it might be adjusting thrust to keep at target speed as opposed to a proper path, but I mean, it's not quite close. If I disconnect the auto throttle, I think it should be all the way back there. But my big request though is if they could turn up the brightness of this. Look, that auto throttle disconnect blinking light is very dim. There we are, there's the decel point. Very, very good. Approaching 10 miles now, so we'll start selecting flaps. So my operator, if I was to open the speed window now, well, it's actually staying in path now. That's good. So that is matching my operator instead of VNAV speed. So it's in approach logic now. We'll have the speed window open anyway. So I have direct control of the speed. Yeah, that's looking a bit dodgy. The graphics. We could step down. There's the mandatory 4,000, 160. We'll now select flap 1. Match the flap 1 speed. VNAV path stays engaged. Now we have FMC speed. That's good. Flap 1, flap 5, match speed. There's the mandatory 160 knot speed limit met. We'll call this 984 point here. It's the initial fix. I'm sort of going to treat this as what we know as known as a descent point at my operator. So once we're 2 miles before this point, I'll set the minimums on the MCP, put rounded to the nearest 100 feet, so it'll be 600 feet. We'll verify we have VNAV path, which we already do with the speed window open as well. But yeah, very, very nice so far. 19 knots, wind is going to be from the left by the time we get down to the runway. Thrust is coming up, that's fine, because it needs to maintain the flat 5 speed. 2 miles to go, so 600 feet. This is exactly how we fly RNAV approaches on the line. VNAV path, and verify the speed window is open, and then we'll set the missed approach altitude 1,000 feet AGL, which will be at the top of the white bar. Looking very good so far, very impressed. A little bit of a shallower descent now, but it'll soon descend on the correct path once we've passed the initial fix. So far, so good. How many flaps can you do at once? Well, technically no limit similarly, as long as you're below the flat placard speed. Oh, I saw a little wiggle of the magenta line. There we are. So now it should descend a little steeper on the correct descent path. That's looking good. Well done. Always in this valley here. We'll do some height checks. Passing 980. 980, which is all the way over here. We'll configure at about 5 miles from touchdown. So far so good. And you gotta really trust the system. Remember, you could be in IMC at this point. You know, there's a lot of terrain around. We'd be verifying, or here, progress page 4, cross-check error is not displaying. In reality, you always see it. Or certainly on our FMSs, but maximum cross-check error is half the RMP. It's saying it's 0.3, that should be 0.1. I should update that manually, really. Yeah, it won't let me change it. There we go, 0.1, that's better. So you can see it, look, it's taking you straight towards a mountain. There's the airport, there's the runway. Yeah, that mesh is a bit disappointing. But great way to test LNAV and VNAV stand. So far, so good. Terrain's in up. No, I was saying it on. There we go.
50.
Terrain.
40,
Database is there. Weather radar
30,
doesn't work.
20.
Thanks
10.
a lot, Mick Cliff, for the $5 Australian, buddy. Thank you very much. Very good so far. We'll do one height check at VG 978, passing 980. 978, we need to be at 2,230 feet, and now it's doing a 3.6 degree descent path. 978, yeah, the height's looking good. So we'll configure now. Gear down, flap 15, match speed, landing checklist, start switches, recall, speed brake, arm green light, landing gear down. Oops, speed brake extended a little bit there. Down 3 green, order brake is set, flap 30. And we go straight to flat 41, 55 knots in the 600. So passing 976, 1800 feet. That looks good. Leveled off briefly, which it should do if there's a restriction. So looking very nice. Yeah, well done, PMDG. Very impressed. Done this very nicely, and the radius to fix works well. So flaps 40 green light, lights on, checks complete, missed approach altitude, top of the white bar coming up, that's 4,000 feet, don't forget to do that, and let's do it. Yoke Cam's coming on, very impressed, well done to the devs, Right, autothrottle disconnected, autopilot's disconnected. And we'll recycle the flight directors because that should give you guidance all the way to touchdown. But I think they do a little bit of a wobbly thing in the PMDG. They sort of like, they just disappear on their own. But there we are, 3 reds. There we are, that's a little bit better with the seating. Just do about 500 feet per minute, that's checked. Sounds good. Very nice. Tad low still, so just watching that rate of descent. Winds from the left. Again, just maintaining 500 feet per minute. There we are, back on profile. Remember, it's just a 30-meter wide runway here. So your centerline tracking needs to be bang on here. Keep the runway at the same point of the windscreen now. Ooh, getting a middle marker. A little bit low on speed there. Target speed's looking good. Handling's actually quite nice. In roll. Checked. We're 30-meter wide runway. It looks like you're high and going much faster. Continue. Don't be put off by the visual illusion of the narrow runway. Keep descending. Looks like you're much higher than you are, but that's just what a 30-meter runway is like. A little low on speed there. Very low on speed. Checked. Keep descending now.
50, 40, 30, 20,
check.
10.
Close. Hold the attitude. Way down. That looked good. Speed brakes. Up. Don't forget to say it on the centre line. Reverses. 100. 80. 60 knots. Cancelling reverse. Ladies and gentlemen, there's cancelling order breakers as well. Welcome to Vagar. For the first ever time in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yeah, well done to PMDG. It was actually really... it was good. It was really quite nice. The LNAV and VNAV worked well. No real complaints. With further improvements and fine-tuning, you're going to have a fine aircraft. Just did descent, some slightly outdated version of VNAV there, but well, very, very good. Right, default scenery issues here. Ignore the approach lights on the turn pad there, but the turning circle should be pretty good there. There's full right. A little bit of understeer there. You can turn on a 30-meter wide runway, but it should be a little steeper than that. And it seems to be understeering slightly. It's gotten round. There was a Payware airport available, but I thought, default will be fine. Default will be fine. Thanks for subscribing there, Alpha Mike. Oh, yeah, I need to get some new replay tools. I had a Payware one, but it just seems to freeze the sim, and I need to look. I know V1's got a free one. I need to talk to him, and someone did mention what it was, but I've had no time. Literally, I just jumped straight into this stream. I've not had any tweaking or playing around in desktop simulators for about 6 weeks. I've just been basically firing it up and streaming and hoping for the best. I've checked the scenery and updates have worked, but that's it. Microsoft Flight Sim aircraft seem to slide on the tarmac a bit. They do, Tom, yeah. The taxiing behaviour, it's a little off, but it's good enough. It's good enough. Right, I'll take the right. I'm sorry, left here. Flaps coming up. Glad we stream live time here. Excellent. Yeah, taxi around an idle thrust is pretty good. Yeah, it's got a bit more inertia than it had previously. Right, retracts can come off. And the fixed landing lights, transponder to out off. Rate is to off, trim we'd reset, flight directors can come off. 100 knots, 4,100. They can come off. To steady, get the AP up and running. Pro heat can come off as well. Excellent, so we'll just take a random stand here. Let's go for stand number 3. Oops, put the compass light on. taxi onto stand. Very, very nice. $35, guys. Yeah, it's a very good price. Love the Boeing house livery as well. That'll do. So remember now, you have to hold the brakes down, then pull the park brake lever up. Put the dome light on now. Yep, that's nice and bright. It's exactly as it is in the real aircraft as well. APU should be available any second. There we go. Oops. On the bus, 2 blues, 1 red, engines are dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Vagar and the Faroe Islands. We'll just do the transit shutdown flow here. That'll do. Transponder to 2000. And standby. Superb. What do you think then, guys? Great. This aircraft's awesome. $35 as well for a PMDG aircraft. I think the 700 should be the same price. I know it has your BBJ and it has the cargo freight converter, but you get all of that in the 600 minus those variants, and it's more than half the price. So if you're new to PMDG, the 600 is a steal. I think the 700 should be the same price. When the 700 came out at the price, what was it, $75? I thought that was fine. I think that's a fair price. I mean, for the detail you get, the 600 is a bargain. But I think for the 600, $35, great price. 700. Well, I don't see the point of it now at the price they're charging. The 800, it'll be interesting to see what they charge for that. That's going to be the one everyone wants to replicate all of the real-world operators. Alpaca always being the main one of the 800. But yeah, really impressed with the LNAV VNAV update. I can see VNAV still doing some funny things in the initial descent, or doing things based off the original FMC updates, but the handling and the behaviour of the automation on departure was great. The Magenta line update seems to be a lot tidier now. On the SID, it had a few issues putting the pole full tango on there. Seemed to appear correctly at 1 second, then disappearing, but definitely improving since their launch version for sure. Probably won't get the 800 because I have the Phoenix. Of course, the Airbus lovers, the Phoenix is an awesome aircraft. I've flown that a couple of times for an entire airline experience. Having that EFB with the Navigraph and flight plan integration is an absolute must, so I'd 100% recommend that aircraft there. Hell of an aeroplane for the price, great introduction for people, absolutely. Steve M. Is it worth getting an 800 even though we have the Zebo? Yeah, if you want to enjoy a 737 in Microsoft Flight Simulator, I do recommend the PMDG. Firefighter, your operator, do use the new pressurization panel. It's available on the PMDG now. The new aircraft do have the newer panel for sure. Matt, when you jiggle the thrust levers to slightly increase thrust on final, is that something that is also done on the actual? Yeah, you're making small adjustments at all time there. So what you see me doing, Matt, is exactly what I'm doing on the real aircraft as well. It's just a lot smaller and lighter, but the changes I'm making are exactly the same. Black Doctor, you think you'll pass? John loves the plane. Lots of debates and questions there on the approach, which is great to see. But yeah, I don't 100% recommend this aircraft, guys. What comments did we have on the approach there? FAC disappeared because you went back to LNAV, I think. Interesting. Yeah, we don't have that on our aircraft. I mean, let's do it, the integrated approach navigation. Has VNAV always been idle thrust for the 7.3? 4 hours NDMZ, yes. Except on the approach. Why is the fuel in the centre tank? We saw that, Cat. Excellent. I think I've seen most of these questions there. Super. You think you'll get FS realistic? No, I don't know much about it there, to be honest. Neil likes a 28 quid spent as well. What's the longest route you've done in real life? Undisclosed Scottish Airport Suite 4 refer to Tenerife, 5 hours, 20 minutes with a strong headwind, about 3 hours 45 on the way back. More than long enough in this aircraft. Guys, that's it for today, really. Without sounding like a broken record, yes, $35, the 600 variant is an awesome add-on. You can enjoy then an NG in Microsoft Flight Simulator, very realistic NG. The Zebo mod is still worth its weight in gold, aka it's free, so no gold needed. And I'll be continuing to fly that as well. I'm not a Microsoft Flight Sim convert. I love both sims. I value both simulators. We've got some awesome updates to the FMS in the Zebo mod as well. Route 2 has been implemented, which I'll cover in a short video. I hope to cover in a short video in the next few days. And yeah, if you would like to see more of this, don't forget to subscribe, like the video as well, to stay up to date with the latest content. To all that donated, thank you very much for your generosity. To all the members for your continued support as well. I always say sorry to the members because I'm very quiet on Discord these days, but I will be around more. I did do a demo of the approach earlier, but it was very quiet on the Discord this morning. I didn't ping anyone either. So yeah, let me know what you'd like me to fly next in the comments section. You can always ping me on social media, Instagram and Facebook as well in the comments. I do try and read as many of those as possible. That's it for today. I hope to go live in a couple of days' time. I am on standby on a few days this week as well, so as long as I don't get called, I might do some impromptu streams. Stay safe. Well done to the English female football team for winning the football today. Whatever competition it was, I don't know, but what an achievement. And stay safe out there. Love you all, and I'll see you soon. Cheerio.